Matt Schmidtke has exited stage right. Andrew Neil has entered stage left. And we are ready to rock and roll once more for you here live, exclusive and free on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. A very warm welcome to those of you that are joining us for the first time tonight, and welcome back to those of you that have been with us from the start. This is night 4 of week 2 of term 3 of 2026. And it is the Porsche Cup taking centre stage now for the balance of the evening and the second race of their season, the first of the 40-minute sprints. This one coming to you from the Fuji International Speedway in Japan. And, oh boy, I'm happy to report that we've got another grid that's bursting at the seams, but at least the house isn't as overflowing as what it was this time last week. Zach Caban, Andrew Neil, Greg Heaney's here for the moment as well, because we didn't get a chance to chat to him post Formula V. Will do that very shortly, and we are ready to go on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for the second round of the season. We had to turn people away last week. The house was full at Mount Panorama Bathurst. We weren't necessarily surprised by that, but Greg, we are, well, at least I am surprised that we've still got 45, maybe 48, 49 lining up on the grid tonight for the second round of the Porsche Cup. I would have thought there'd be a bit more of a drop-off than that, considering the numbers we had at the end of last term, which were atrocious. But it looks as though there's a little bit more love for the Porsche at the outset of term 3.
I mean, it's a great problem to have at this point of the
season.
So he's hoping that we still have a great problem like this towards the end of it. But no, look, I mean, yes, we had an influx of drivers last week. With any of those that have taken a seat back, or step back this week, we'll be back next week. And yeah, maybe it's just a car track combination they don't like, or maybe they have other commitments. But with any luck, we'll see some more on the grid next week, and hopefully have another full server.
Absolutely. Now, any truth to the rumour that you might have to go and sit at the? We often talk about you getting the book out, the checkbook, the negotiation book, etc., lining up at the table, having a chat to prospective future Whiskey Business Racing drivers. But any potential truth to the rumour that you might be reaching out to the people at Target about a sponsorship arrangement with the team after tonight's exploits in Formula V?
I don't know. I'll have to see if I can give it back to Josh first. I mean, look, all in all, in the heat of the moment, it kind of felt that way. But having a look back at it, I felt like I was just ganged up on a little bit.
Oh,
but, no, look, it all fair. I mean, there were a couple, and I did get messages from the guys that did bump into me and turn me around and so forth. So I didn't get a chance to say, yep, got your message. But yeah, to the guys that did make contact with me, as we see the car pointing the wrong direction in the background here on the stream. But
that was Barry Punter, I think.
I did get the messages from the guys that did turn me around, and yeah, no stress, no harm, no foul. We shall move on to next week.
Indeed, we shall. I mean, are you at least enjoying the hustle and bustle of Formula V? Because it's very different to an enduro per se, where we're running for 8, 12, 24 hours, and you can somewhat ease into it. In Formula V, it's no holds barred, every man for himself, and very little time to get the job done. Oh,
most definitely. I think I've actually managed to finally figure out how to get the thing out of the blocks without lighting up the rear tyres, even though it's got a 2.5 litre little, or what it not even, motor in the back of it. But
1600 cc.
Yeah. What is it? Milk and juice only come in 2 litres. Put a V8 in it. Fix it. But yeah, no, look, I finally managed to figure out how to get it out of the blocks without lighting the rears up, so that's a plus. So I mean, week on week I'll improve, and should it be here next season, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably be champing at the bit to have it go around again. So we'll
every season
we can do
for the rest of time, for the history of the club, for the rest of time. Yep, absolutely. Fair dinkum. Hey, now let's remind everybody of the state of play here. You mentioned 2 litre bundles, right? I couldn't help but notice. I took a photo of it the other day. I got myself to the local Coles shopping centre, and they've now put on the top of a 2 litre bottle of Coca-Cola family share pack. And my first response to that was get stuffed. That used to be a solid Tuesday night for me, back when I was living the bachelor life in Bathurst, before the dentist caught up with me, of course. That was just a Tuesday night in. So obviously times have changed, and if they were to label a Dare Iced coffee 2-litre bottle in the same manner, I'd say exactly the same thing, because I'd happily have that order myself. But it's interesting too, because next stop for that series is Donington Park. We'll get your thoughts on that very shortly. How do you reckon this is going to play out tonight? I can't help but notice that one of the stalwarts of GSRC Porsche Cup racing is back in the house, and it's great to see Corey Lazarus here giving it another crack. He was dead set unlucky last night in the pro round at Zandvoort. I hope he stops by for a chat post-race here just to get his thoughts on all of that and this as well. But for anyone that was on double duty this week, tight turnaround going from Zandvoort to Fuji, two very different circuits. I don't have time to get thoughts from anybody with regards to all of this, because the cars are now lining up on the grid and there's 50 of them to run through. 3 o'clock local server time, 16 kilometre an hour winds, 26 degrees the ambient, 40 on track, partly cloudy conditions, 54% humidity. Those winds are northeasterly, tending 16 kilometres an hour, and we are looking at a grid that looks like this. 4.448 kilometre circuit, this one, ladies and gentlemen, and the track temp at 40 degrees, partly cloudy conditions and dry. Corey Lazarus and Isaac Curtis the front row, Luke Page and Willie Blair the second, Jared Knight and Luke Alavoine the third, Ben Pedersen, Ben Snell the fourth, Michael Vocci and also Jeff Adams the fifth, Vinny New and Scott Rankin the sixth, Jonas Deggan on row 7 alongside Aidan Rankin, row 8 Sam Chapman, Luke Brooker, row 9 David Webb, John Akers, row 10 Stephen Gallacher. I've just lost the timing screen here at my end. I figured that might be the case. Hello to you, Andrew Deal. Good evening. Hopefully we'll get that back for you, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully you'll see it at home in a moment. He has. Oh dear. We'll get the grid for you in just a moment, folks. Just bear with us there. We're obviously having a tech issue at Andrew Neil's, and there is a look at the grid for the first time tonight. The field is 49 deep. And we can tell you that outside the top 20, alongside Stephen Gallacher is Heyo Ong to round out the top 20. Joel Jensen's, Mitch Noble, Eli Donaldson, Adam Lavis, Sean Benici, Brad Keck, Paul Wood, Liam Amos, Tamoya Goodwin, Richard King, Edward Rollo, and Joel De La Rosa take us back to 30 seconds. 17th row, Tom Pritchard, Wade Sheedy. 18th row, Simon Cooper, Paul Wilson, then Lee Peckham, Barry Punter, Blake Cox, and Eduardo Zamora take us back to 40th. Mercer, McIntyre, Tierman, McDonald, Hanson, Pianazzola, Piper, Watson, and Schmidtke round out the 49 car field. Round 2 of the series is green. Let's go racing at Fuji International. Look at them fan out as they strike down the start straight. And they'll be hard on the anchors on the run to turn 1. Let's see who can get the jump. Lazarus sweeping around over the outside to lead Isaac Curtis through. They're all going to take an interesting line through there. Someone line up the off-track alerts on the outside of the ripple strip, but it looks like a clean getaway at Fuji. How many horses have you got in the race tonight? Greg, you got Timmy Watson out there. You've got Sean Benici. And that's it, is it? That is it.
That's it. Yeah, Timmy's decided to jump in and have a go tonight.
Oh, Scott Rankin's gone. Scott Rankin's gone. Sorry, Greg. Scott Rankin's dropped off the leaderboard. Isaac Curtis is trying to get up on the outside of Corey Lazarus without success for the moment. But yes, Scott Rankin in trouble early on. Cannot buy luck this week, that bloke, unfortunately. You were saying, sorry, finish the point about Sean Benici. Good to see him back out there, Greg.
Yeah. So Sean, after having a minor kerfuffle in the Watkins Glen GT3s, sustained good to see him back out on the grid in the Porsches as well. And Timmy's decided to jump in and have a steer tonight, so I'll see how he goes. I think it may be the first time he's driven this car. I'm not sure. It's been a little while since he's been in the car. I know he was mentioning that he was having a little bit of a spin and so forth on his throttle coming out of corners and stuff, so he may just need to turn up his traction control just to try to mitigate some of that.
Maybe so. Favourite track and about to make this easy, reckons Daniel Seddon in relation to Isaac Curtis. Also some support for Luke Page of Project 36 as opposed to Luke Page of Whiskey Business Racing. Down to turn 1 we go. There's Sean Medici in 23rd spot. Corey Lazarus leads from Isaac Curtis, Luke Page, Willie Blair and Jared Knight, the top 5. Benny Pedersen and Luke Alavoy, the top 7. I'll tell you what, I understand why Daniel Steadman's backing Isaac Curtis in, but once Corey Lazarus gets to grips with this, it's been a sort of process for him. I know he's found it difficult to wrap his head around this new 992.2. There's a lot of people that are not 100% as happy or as comfortable as what they were with the old incarnation of what we now call the Porsche Cup on a Thursday night. And Corey, we know what he brings to the table. So if these two can keep one another honest throughout the course of 40 minutes, either one of them's a worthy winner, Greg, and it'll be rather entertaining for those of us watching on, cheering them on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Though I wouldn't put it past Corey to play fuel games with Isaac. We know how good Corey is at steering these things. We're going to have to put a new mark on the wall somewhere. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing fuel games. Really takes it up.
Oh, trouble! Barry Punton, that's on replay. So everybody got checked up in behind Baz there. About 5 of them got checked up on the approach to the chicane. Thanks to Andrew Neil for the replay. Back we go. You'll notice as well, folks, still a couple of drivers listed with a red next to their name, a red background on their position number. That is because Adam Lavis is yet to attribute them to a split, be they elite, which is the black and yellow, or open, which is the yellow background and the black number. And dead set. I don't know who's been busier the first week and a half of the new term, boys, whether it's been whether it's been race control and all the crew in there by Paul Wooden trying to have the party, Greg, or whether it's been Adam Lavis trying to sift through all the extraordinary numbers that we've been dealing with in the early stages. As you said, a great problem to have, but unless your name's Adam Lavis and he's had to go back to the drawing board, create a fourth split of GT3 and then reallocate around the different servers and splits with regards to the 4 GT3s, the 2 Porsches and the 2 supercars. Yeah,
well, the supercars and the Porsches are providing that as Steadman jumps in, it's been pretty busy. I reckon he's probably up there for a trophy as well for being pretty busy in the chat. But, no, I mean, look, Ads does an amazing amount of work behind the scenes for split allocations and stuff like that. As Tamaya has a bit of a skip across the through there, so it's back in the car. Luckily, he's got plenty of room to recover that and get going again. But, Ads does an amazing amount of work, obviously, with Trav, Paul, and all the guys at Race Control. Also doing their part as well. So, but yes, it's been a very, very busy week this week.
Indeed it has, but it sets us up nicely for the balance of the season. Down the main straight we go. I was just looking at one of the other screens I've got open at the moment here, so I didn't see that announcement that come across the bottom of the screen there. But yes, Daniel Snedden and also Restream. Some of his best work is done in the chat. That's, of course, Andrew Neil chiming in from the director and producer chair this evening. And who said men couldn't multitask? Have a look at this. So one of Steadman's comments was rather interesting in that Isaac Curtis, in his opinion, is the James Scott equivalent. So what Scotty brings to the table in a supercar, he's saying Isaac brings to the table in the Porsche Cup. Now, when we have a look at the point standings last week, Ben Pedersen on top ahead of Scott Rankin and Willie Blair in the 60-minute Enduro at Mount Panorama. They lead the way. And, of course, in the open split, once everything was ratified there, Tom Pritchard on top, Wade Sheedy second, and Luke Vega to Todd Suter a tie for third in the points last Thursday night. So make a note of all of that. They're the ones to beat at the moment. Great to see Corey Lazarus back here. And, of course, let's just say I'm fast on the keyboard, says Snap. Yeah, absolutely. In the same way that I'm faster talking behind the microphone. Across the start-finish line we go, and that'll be the end of lap 4, 1 minute 40.531 for Lazarus. He's Jordan Pianazzola in trouble and going for a bit of an excursion through the short chute. and slowing down accordingly and observing that correctly. Corey Lazarus and Isaac Curtis lead the way here. Luke Page is third, Willie Blair is fourth. 1 minute 40, so that puts us on track for 1:43.25. 6 laps in 10 minutes, puts us on track for 24 laps tonight, and that is even with the carryover time, remembering that we can start anywhere up until about the 39 and 57 second mark, that final lap. So we're on track for 24, including what is a tricky and very long run down pit lane, a transit through for a splash and dash tonight. And we've seen so many people tripped up in the past with regards to pit entry crackdown here at this circuit imposed by iRacing, Greg. So hopefully everybody took that into consideration and rehearsed their drive through pit lane in the lead up to tonight's race.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, obviously, most people that have paid attention to the circuit through years gone by in the real world, and obviously within iRacing circles as well, but as soon as you come out of that last corner, you've basically got to move to the right because the commitment line is so early coming out of the last corner, and it's such a long run to the point of commitment, and the entry, the little chicane that they've actually got in the entry itself, and that is a very bent Porsche of Barry Punter, who looks to have found a section of Armco and deposited part of his car behind. The chicane in the pit lane entry can actually unsettle the car as well. And yes, it's very tempting to try and trim it off just a little bit, but if you do take a little bit too much, it'll sting you there as well. So.
For Jeff Adams, we pick him up in 9th spot at the moment. Going well. Staying out of trouble so far. Michael Bocci's just in behind him. Lazarus and Curtis have checked out 1.5 clear of Luke Page, who's got another half a second on Willie Blair, who's just set the fastest lap of the race. In comes Seton with the dad joke, the first one of the night. So, although that being said, the fact that we are able to use John Merritt's name in the form of a pun nowadays when he's talking about winning on merit or obviously leading on merit or whatever the case may be. Yes, we've got that down packed as well, the old puns and dad jokes here on the platforms of the GSRC. Nearly 10 minutes gone. As I said, that 1 minute 40 threshold per lap. We're looking good for 24 laps throughout the course of this evening. And then the post-race show to follow. Liam Amos leads the open split at the moment ahead of Tommy Pritchard and Wade Sheeding, 23rd, 24th, 25th outright. There is Adam Lavis holding down 19th right now, and hopefully buying a little bit more luck here than what he had in Disruptive Laps Formula V, because he ended up in a fair world of hurt in that third race, let's be perfectly honest. Across the line we go. Reminding you, we're back tomorrow night for the IndyCars from Nashville from 8:30 Eastern, and we're looking forward to your company for all of that. 6:30 Western, 10:30 New Zealand, and 10:30 GMT, 10:30 AM, that is, GMT. Right on board with Scotty Rankin on the comeback trail after lap 1 indiscretion, and he's in 20th now, trying to work his way back through the field, back by Adam Lavis' first target. Now, Greg, two things with regards to you and your racing. Obviously, we'll talk about the teammates later, but next week, Formula V, Donington National, which I think will be absolute beaut. That'll be an absolute ball terror. And then secondly, are we going to see you lining up in GT1 tomorrow night?
Oh, of course I'm in for GT1. The Corvette is, I mean, I may not be super competitive in GT1, but the Corvette's an absolute beast of a car, and it sounds really good, and I'm happy to drive it. I had a decent week last week at Sebring, so yeah, we'll see how we fare tomorrow night, and in for the IndyCars as well.
Oh, good.
And I know James is going to have a crack at that, and already given him a few pointers, being that it is really the first, well, this would be the second race he's had a crack at in the IndyCar, so gave him a few pointers about how to drive on an oval and stuff like that. So being that you do run with smaller wings and the rear wing is basically non-existent. So yeah, there's a few things to take into account there, but Donington National next week in the V's, it should be an absolute cracker of a race. Just a matter of being able to keep up the momentum, and particularly through the chicane on the front straight, getting that right. If you hit those curves wrong,
Timmy. Porsche doing Porsche things.
Yeah. From here, it's a bit hard to tell if that was maybe a little bit too much brake bias one way, or just maybe a little bit too much jam.
Sure, we'll find out in due course. Let's remind everybody that we've got Corey Lazarus still being hounded here, being kept honest by Isaac Curtis. Now, whether Curtis is playing the same game as Lazarus or someone is holding some cards very close to their chest, all that becomes a little bit clearer when they get through this pit lane sequence, which we're definitely in the window. We are definitely in the window for pit stops to be completed. Curtis getting very close to the tail of Lazarus through.
He had a little bit of a...
He did.
Wide through one of those chicanes, the right-hander here where we see Adam at the moment.
The uphill
was a little bit wide and washed out a bit, which closed the gap up.
And that's the interesting thing. Curtis has been happy to sit there so far. Whether he wants to have a look down on the inside, use the slipstream to his advantage, and there was an enormous tow value here at the Fuji International Speedway. If there are positional battles still being decided on the final lap, you watch them. Curtis down the inside. Curtis got him. So Curtis has got by Lazarus. Curtis has pulled the trigger and said, now I want to lead, and I'll lead from the front. Thank you very much. Catch me if you can. Isaac Curtis leads at the Fuji International Speedway, but Lazarus is not letting him rest on his laurels here. He's not relenting on that. Have a look at him. Up around the outside comes Corey Lazarus, and holding it tough around the outside. Will he be able to get back down the inside? Yes, he will. Oh, that's brilliant from Corey Lazarus, holding Isaac Curtis to task, and he says, if you want to pass me, sure, but good luck consolidating it. He wasn't able to. Lazarus back in front. So the gloves are off here. The gloves are off. Remember that both these two haven't yet been able to match Denchi's statistics of being a 10-time Porsche Elite Cup champion, right? Let's be perfectly honest about that. But they are still two very good campaigners in their own right when it comes to these machines. So Lazarus working tooth and nail here to keep Curtis at bay. Luke Page is another second further back, and if they keep squabbling, they're going to invite those guys back in. Lazarus may benefit from the slipstream of the lap car in front, but Curtis will look to pull to the inside. This is exactly what I was talking about with the view to the final lap. Photo finishes could well be a thing tonight. Curtis has it at the strike. They cross the start line. They start lap 10. 16 minutes into the race. Curtis back down the inside. Oh, this is good stuff. The gloves are off. Greg, I mentioned it on Monday night. I'm loving the intensity that everybody's bringing to the table this season. It is next level. So often we've seen the guys, Neely may have noticed this as well, and he's split in GT3, and he's still here, by the way, folks. He just hasn't been able to get a word in for the last 15 minutes. The reality of the matter is, right, you look at these guys. Oh, here we go. Epileptic warning for those of you that suffer seizures. Apologies.
Everybody running an AMP processor.
Yeah, exactly. So the interesting thing about all this, Greg, the upping of the ante, the level of intensity, it's just lifted, because we saw this on Monday night. Everyone was a lot more racier than what we've become used to in GT3, and we're seeing it the same in the Porsches. The elbows are out early. They're not afraid to throw it around and race rather than just play the processional card, follow the leader, keep it clean and steady right through the first stint, and then let the pit stops and everything else after that decide how it all plays out.
Oh, most definitely. Which, I mean, to be honest, for the spectacle, it is very good to see. Everybody having a crack from the green flag, or at least maybe a lap or two after, once the tyres come up to temperature and you've actually got some confidence in the car. But yeah, no, the competition at the moment is second to none compared to what we've had. It's everybody is having a crack from the green flag basically, and it's really good.
So Curtis Lazarus, then Page and Blair, and Jared Knight's only another second further back. The top four are now a pack of one, because the slipstream for Page and Blair, they've latched on. They've gone with Curtis and Lazarus. We pick up Aiden Rankin in 11th spot, one of the newbies to the series this term. He's got Sam Chapman down on his inside. Chapo goes to 11th now. Battles everywhere you look. And in comes Tommy Pritchard, winner of the Open split last week. Sitting pretty at the moment. Don't forget, IndyCar tomorrow night, Nashville Super Speedway. Then we'll take the weekend off. You'll watch the World Cup final. You watch Real World IndyCar from Nashville. You're back with us Monday night for Waste Options. Monday night Motorsport, the Open World Tin Top doubleheader. That is Formula Renault 3.5, and that's from Monza. And then, of course, the third of the GT3 races for this season, the third of the 60-minute races, and our first look at the AM split for 2026, well, term 3 of 2026 at least. That will be 8:30 Eastern Time, Monday Night Motorsport. Looking forward to that. Around the grounds, 57.23, Geelong leading St Kilda at the moment. And over on Fox Sports 503, 3 under the clubhouse leader scoreboard for at least 6 of the contenders, as day one of the British Open continues as well. So if you're a golf fan, plenty to sink your teeth into. Coverage continuing through till 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And, of course, for cycling fans, the Tour de France only a few moments away from commencing on this Thursday evening on SBS. Here's Lazarus back down on the inside. Returning serve on Curtis. Was happy to follow and let him lead that previous lap. Takes the lead back. Look at Curtis trying to get the up and under done. Wasn't able to do so. That was beautifully executed from Corey Lazarus to keep Curtis at bay. He closed the door and shut down the opportunity of an over and under very quickly, Greg, and that's Racecraft 101, and that's why those guys do what they do, and I sit here in the commentary box and point and scream and talk about it.
Yeah, very much so. It's one thing to try and get the move done, but then you've obviously got to be able to hold the car that you've passed at bay so they can't get it back off. So yeah, these guys certainly know what they're doing, and do it to the best of their ability in keeping it all fair and square and clean.
Just the way he drove through the corner, you could tell that he deliberately parked the car where he wanted to park it, knowing full well that it would compromise the run off the corner for Curtis, and shut down the opportunity for him to get back across to the inside, which would effectively become the outside, to try and regain the position. So, no, very swift racecraft. Defence driving 101, and now Curtis can reset and go again and probably have a crack at him this time down the main straight. So the question will be, what are they going to do strategically speaking? Is one going to zig and one going to zag, or is it going to be monkey see, monkey do, follow the leader sort of thing? That could be where this is run and lost. Well, that could be the defining moment.
Yeah, but the other thing they're going to be mindful of is the more that those two squabble over real estate, they're bringing Page and Blair back into it as well.
Absolutely.
If all 4 of them start getting stuck into each other, you've got Jared Knight and Pedersen not far behind that could potentially also end up.
Yeah,
on the back
and
of that train.
and look who Benny Pedersen's got for company. He's got Benny Snell. So those two are a little bit too far back at the moment. I mean, they're 5 seconds back on Jared Knight, let alone the 7 seconds, nearly 8 seconds they're back on Corey Lazarus. But you're right about the first 4, and particularly Knighty is 5th place because he's only 1.4 away. The more they squabble, the longer it keeps Page and Blair in the fight, and they're no slouches in their own right, let's be honest. That we immediately thought this would be a 2-horse race, but the more they squabble, the more they compromise their chances of getting that clear run to sort out the battle for first and second. They might end up sorting out the battle for first, second, third, or fourth, and we'll have a Formula V type showdown in a Porsche, which would be an epic way to finish a Thursday night. 1 minute 40.148 that last time through for Corey Lazarus, the fastest lap of the race so far, and we're past half race distance. Biggest movers so far, plus 10 for Eli Donaldson with the cameo, plus 29 for Matt Schmidtke. Not mucking around. He gets out there as soon as he gets out of the commentary booth after directing and producing our Formula V coverage, and he's gone up plus 29. But what does work against Schmidtke in this instance is that he's got 6 of those cars, or 5 of those cars, on merit. Everyone down to 25th yet to stop. Everyone beyond that, with the exception of Jason Tierman, has stopped in some way, shape or form. retirements, it looks like Barry Punter, Tomoyo Goodwin, and also Tomoyo Goodwin, and Timmy Watson are going to be retirements tonight. Watto's been on pit lane for 8 minutes now, and if he goes more than 6 laps down, he can forget his chances of being classified here, because you've got to complete 75% race distance, which we still think is on track to be 24 laps, ladies and gentlemen. So hope you can stay with us for the balance of the ride here and the post-race show as well. And then I think everyone gets a little bit of tools downtime this weekend, Greg, and that'll come as a welcome reprieve for some of you because you burnt the candle at both ends last weekend.
Yeah. So last week was a big weekend, particularly for us, and obviously everybody else that had a crack at the Spa 24 hour. And then backing it up with an hour of Spa here at the Gents, so that was fun.
And an AGM in between.
Well, yeah, and that too. Though I did just see somebody put up a question in our general chat to looking for drivers for the Creventic race at Spa this weekend. So in case you haven't done enough laps in the last week and a half, there's some more that you can do.
Why not? After the race, of course, provided he hasn't got an early morning alarm, Adam Lavis will crunch the numbers for us, but if we don't have an update for you on air tonight, we'll get that to you tomorrow night at the end of the broadcast of the IndyCars on the platforms of GSRC. So do stay with us. Any housekeeping that can be done will be done, and then we'll see you in the direction of Friday night for anything that can't be done tonight. Lap 15 for our leaders. Jonas Deggan completing lap 14 at the moment. He's chasing Scotty Rankin down the main straight. Rankin's recovery's been okay as well. Back into position number. Deggan's coming to pit lane, I think. Yes. Scotty Rankin continues on. Rankin's recovery's been okay. Back to 14th for the moment. And Jonas Deggan has dropped down the order as a result of going to pit lane. So, top 24 yet to stop once Deggan comes to a halt. Although that being said, it'll be interesting to see. He may well be able to stay out ahead of a couple of the straggling back markers in the open split there, and he's going to be able to do so. Paul Wilson goes through, but Simon Cooper won't get him. So Deggan's going to return to the circuit most likely in 24th position.
Just looking at this as well, either the guys at the front here are getting caught up with traffic at the unopportunistic time, or maybe Isaac burnt off a little bit too much tyre trying to defend against, or his gaps pushing for a second and just over occasionally as well. So obviously for that first chunk of the race with Isaac sitting behind Corey, he's obviously, I would assume, probably been able to save maybe a little bit of fuel and possibly on a shorter stop when he hits the lane. So we'll see what comes to that.
Indeed, and Jonas Deggan, as he was getting back up to speed, was eventually passed by both Vinnie Newen and Simon Cooper as well. So he's resumed in 26th. Down on the inside, Corey Lazarus has broken clear, 1 second clear of Isaac Curtis. So these are the defining moments, but I'll go with what Mr. Snedden was saying in the chat thread. Is he burning the tyres? Are they going to give out on him towards the end? It'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. In come Eli Donaldson and Sean Benici, and we saw Eli Donaldson mention earlier that he was going to make a guest cameo appearance here in the Porsches. It'll be interesting to get his feedback on that. That's not the way Blake Cox would have liked to have exited that corner. To the left-hand side, instead of veering back around to the right. So drops a bit of time and loses a couple of spots in the process. Here's Willie Blair. He's still trying. He and Luke Page are still trying to latch on and go with Isaac Curtis, but they're about to be at serious risk of losing the toe benefit from Curtis when they get back to the main straight. One of the wild ride entries has gone round. Off the circuit there in the infield.
I think that was maybe trying to avoid the oncoming group of leaders and just caught the curve the wrong way.
Alan McDonald. Sitting down in 42nd position at the moment. And that's the point as well. Like, this field is now so far spread out that we've got to have the discussion about who's going to finish this race a lap down and who's not. We've completed 16. This time by the line for Corey Lazarus. So again, on par with where we're expecting to run to this point. And still on track just for that 24-lap run. It'll all be hinging on the length of the transit and the stop that goes with it for Corey Lazarus, who is the clubhouse leader at the moment. Isaac Curtis, Luke Page, Willie Blair, Jared Knight and Benny Patterson, the top 6. So Blair and Page, you would feel, are arguing over the final spot on the podium tonight, all going according to plan for the balance of this race. And what about Corey Lazarus, eh? I mean, Isaac Curtis has put up a remarkable challenge so far, and it is not over yet. The margin's only 1.5 seconds, so it could swing either way yet, based on pit lane transit and other things. But what about this? As soon as Corey Lazarus finds clear air and has got his head wrapped around the ins and outs of how this Porsche dances, it's like looking back to the future for him. Everything we saw him bring to the table of the 992.1 is now relevant to the 992.2, which bodes well for him and us going forward. And Jonas Degens copped a slow down. Oh boy. So what have you got to do to entice more of your recruits to jump out in a Thursday night server, Greg? Because Whiskey Business Racing is very light on tonight.
I think everybody else has got other things they're doing on a Thursday. So, I mean, I'm in here with you, but I'm doing the early races this season and doubling up on a Monday and a Friday. And also having a crack on Tuesday as well.
There you are.
As we're having another AMG moment with computer.
Hello, Brooksy, tuning in and chiming in via the comment section for the first time tonight as well. Isaac's going along beautifully, eh? Absolutely. It's great to see him out there, obviously, for you guys, and it's great to have another car on the grid in the Porsche Cup, and the fact that he's been able to dance with Corey Lazarus for as long as he has. Oh, whets the appetite for the rest of the season. That's what we want, though, Greg. We don't want boring, processional, dull affairs on a Thursday night. We had a couple of them last season. We didn't really enjoy them. It's good to see that there's reinvigorated interest in the Porsches and, some experienced campaigners throwing their hat into the ring and saying, let's have some of this. Let's have a piece of GSRC Porsche Cup.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Somebody needs to throw something.
Correct.
Imagine putting him up against Corey. I don't think you'd stop talking.
Correct. Oh well, actually, I don't know. You are probably privy to it, but apparently, according to our broadcast team chat thread in Discord, apparently I don't shut up as it is.
Oh, you have moments here and there where it's quiet.
Absolutely.
When somebody else mentions something.
Haven't listened to nearly thrown the shade. He's right, there's not many. I often say it's my mantra. I get paid to talk. So
very much so.
Yes. No, he went well, and I'm reliably informed that Sharpie and Brody went all right too.
Andrew's moving away from his microphone. He needs to remember to keep everything in his face.
Some signal issues there at Neely's end. Just as he moves left and right, we start losing. So, correct. We have a flurry of pit lane activity unfolding right now. Curtis, Snell have been in, so too Olivoin and Adams. And exit goes Joe Della Rosa. Liam Amos, Lee Peckham in right now as well, Greg.
Yeah, he was very lucky to get that thing stopped at the wall, even though there was a very large amount of runoff coming out of that corner.
I like the comments that are coming in from Brooksy and Snedden. I Oh, that's very nice. That's very kind of you, Brooksy. I'll take the compliment and run with it. But it's interesting listening to the conversation that they're having at the moment here, right? Daniel Snedden saying that Isaac's better off running laps. He has, and so too is Willie Blair. That here comes Corey Lazarus through to continue to lead the race. He's just weaving his way through lap traffic at the moment. Isaac's better off running laps in his own space. This will be interesting. So, horses for courses, right, Greg? I mean, obviously you get 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You always, between all the drivers, they've all got their little niches, their idiosyncrasies, their preferences. Some of them love the challenge of racing in amongst, logjam traffic. Others thrive best when they've got wide open space. And that's why we see a mix of guys who race well as opposed to those who qualify well. And very rare that we'll find anyone that's the overall complete package that ticks every single box. You've got to work to your strengths, though.
Of course. Like, people know what their own strengths are, and if you can play to those, then you're going to potentially have one up on people around you that are possibly not as strong in that space, and you'll come out in front.
Snedden, you've already used the succulent Chinese meal reference tonight, mate. That's enough. Thank you. The other thing as well, and if it's not honey chicken and fried rice, I'm not interested. And secondly, with regards to all of that, the shade is no longer being thrown in relation to last week's rugby league contest. It's now being thrown in the direction of our old foe in England. The fact that football's not coming home. It's not coming home. I don't go there. All right. Yeah. What you can't see at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that Neely's wearing a black armband on broadcast tonight. Oh dear, what a day to wake up. Correct. No moral victory there, and in goes Jared Knight to pit lane, and Wayne Sheedy's looped it as well. It's all going good. Oh no! Wade Sheedy has been poleaxed. Now, he was stationary. He wasn't trying to move under brakes or move, from his position, unsafe rejoin or anything like that. Unfortunately, as the would-be car that's cleaned him up was arriving on site, he's just not been able to get out of the way quick enough. He's lined him up and smashed him. Come on, I was better before I was starting to cop shade from Daniel Snedden, but that's okay. How was Formula B for you, mate, or should we not talk about that either? 34 and a half minutes gone here, and still, right? So let's talk about the fuel economy and the benefits of it, and just how good fuel economy is here at this circuit. So this is the wild ride. This was Aidan Rankin's viewpoint. Oh no, he's gone straight off the circuit and said, "No, that'll do me. I'm done." Did we get another look at the Wade Sheedy incident by any chance, Mr. Neil? Any chance we can have another look at that? He's linked it back to pit lane. Jason Tierman's still yet to stop. But we are 35 minutes into this race. We're about to complete lap 21, and that's Schmidtke. Here it is. So Sheedy goes around. Now, who's the car that's cleaned him up? We've just jumped to Lee Peckham. I didn't see who cleaned him up, so we'll try and find out who that was. Corey Lazarus in at the end of lap 21. Benny Patterson, Sam Chapman, Scott Rankin, and also Matt Schmidtke, the only one at the top end of town yet to stop. Schmidtke currently showing plus 40, gentlemen. Plus 40 for Schmidtke. Extraordinary stuff from the back of the grid. So Sheedy, here's the oncoming traffic. Bang! Oh no! And absolutely nothing Sheeds could have done about that. Didn't see who it was that cleaned him up, but still, again, a very good illustration of the fact that there's absolutely nothing that Sheeds could have done, and no reason for race control to view that as anything other than a racing incident. They can't throw the book at him for that.
So Corey Lazarus has come out in front of Isaac by half a second, but yet to stop is Benny, Sam, and Scott Rankin. So
Isaac's just played this beautifully because he was 0.9 of a second quicker on pit road than Corey. So that's eradicated the time lost before the pit stop. They're back to exactly where they were around about the time that Corey made the move and went past. It's half a second. This is going to be decided in a photo finish, isn't it? It's going to be the drag race to the line, the way things are shaping up. Oh, God, I'm going to have to loosen up the vocal cords again. Here we go. Right. Danny Pedersen. Surely he, Chapman and Rankin are in this time by. Pedersen over Chapman by 4.4. Again, one of the traits of Fuji, like the fuel tank, you just edge a little bit more out of it than you would on other stops on the tour. You still need a compulsory spark and dash, not because the tank's running empty per se, but because of our series regulations. In comes Betty Pedersen. Here's Lazarus, hands full with Isaac Curtis, main straight across the start line. 2 to go this time.
One thing that sucks about Fuji though is the fact that everybody's going past you breakneck speed down the front straight and you're trundling at like 70 kilometres an hour or 80 kilometres an hour. It hurts.
It's such a long pit lane, isn't it?
Yep.
Of course, the World Endurance Championship will be here at the end of September. In the real world, that is. A lot of talk at the moment that they're going to replace the Middle East round, Bahrain and Qatar, with 6-hour races at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya and Monza. Because of rising tensions once more. Yeah, throwing the bath water out of the bath. Yeah, rising, or re-rising, if that's even a term. Escalating tension in the Middle East once more. Just when everything had looked like it had simmered, etc. and so forth, and everything was above board, and we were looking like getting back to something like that resembled, trouble, normal programming. Ooh.
I reckon he got caught out by a slow car there. Okay.
See if we can take a replay of that, because the car looked like it was, it looked like it was parked before they arrived on scene, but we'll have a look.
Got a bit of a creep on the left now.
So, right, let's have a look. Oh, this doesn't look good, does it? It doesn't look good, it doesn't look good, it doesn't look good. Dear, oh dear. He's come up so quickly on Jason Tierman, and what doesn't work well for him there either, Greg, is the rate at which Tierman had slowed up either. So it's 6 of one and a half dozen of the other, because it looks as though Tierman's got out of the throttle a lot earlier than normally you would expect drivers to. And I think that would be the only argument that Corey Lazarus would mount in his defence there, that he's been tripped up by.
As we can see there, we've got another car that's got the leaders coming up, and he's just taking the escape route.
Exactly.
In the nature of this circuit, it is very hard to, at certain points of the track, to yield to the blue flag for the fast guys that are coming. And there's your 5-second penalty.
And there it is. Game over. Oh, can you believe that? Corey Lazarus provisionally going to lose this race based on contact with the back marker. Oh, dear.
To potentially 4th.
Yeah. This is extraordinary what's going on here in the closing moments. It's desperately unlucky for Corey. Again, if I'm Corey, I'm going to race control after that and saying, listen, why is he on the anchors that early? Because I've been checked up. Because there's no way, Corey Lazarus doesn't race that dirty. So I reckon this is all provisional as he crosses the line, but based on the information we have, Isaac Curtis is going to be victorious at the Fuji International Speedway in a very unfortunate anticlimactic conclusion to round 2 of the GSRC Porsche Cup. We'll probably go back and have a look at that again, and we need to. And you can tell with how quickly Lazarus has got on the anchors there and got out of the road that he's filthy with that. Straight down to race control, he goes to argue the point and question what for. And I agree, because just based on the first look we had of that, good pick up by you, Greg, that's happened, and well done. But I'm questioning the rate at which Tierman has checked him up, because he's got on the anchors remarkably early there. Unless the other argument, the counter argument, is that Lazarus got on the anchors too late, missed the marker. Who knows? We will go and have a look at that.
Everybody breaks at their own conditions.
Yeah.
Tierman's obviously gotten on the anchors where he's comfortable with the anchors to be able to make the corner.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's unfortunate
Corey
Corey and Isaac behind that they've gotten caught up in it. But obviously, I mean, it's blue flag rules. Yeah, okay, the car in front, the car being blue.
Exactly.
Facilitating the pass as best as possible.
And get off the racing line if you can. Yeah.
And yeah, if you can get out of the way, sure, get out of the way. But unfortunately, if you can't get out of the way, the guys behind just have to wait until you are out of the way. So,
extraordinary stuff. No. Andrew Neil. Oh, very nicely done. Solid, all right. I agree with Daniel Snedden in the sense that Isaac's not put a foot wrong there, but I feel sorry for Corey that he's been tripped up by the presence of a back marker at the wrong moment. I mean that's a horrible way for. I never like it when that sort of stuff. I get why it's there, and obviously we know how we roll, and we've been doing that for a long, long time, but I feel sorry for the audience at home, for everybody else involved, and for Corey Lazarus that the race is decided that way. And if you're Isaac, that's not how you want to. That's not how you want to. Oh, hang on. No,
he might still stay on the podium.
Can we just bring up the overall results there, please, Andrew? Because you've got the class results at the moment, the Porsche Elite Cup, but I want to see overall. Because for a moment there I was like, hang on, where's Isaac? And then I remembered he hasn't been allocated to a split yet. So I want to bring that up for context for everybody, that second outright, there's no disputing the fact that he's going to be elite split competitor by the end of this night. And given what we know, it's fourth place at the moment provisionally for Corey Lazarus. But yeah, I hate it. And we've seen it, at Bathurst in the past in the 1000 when racing is races are decided by external factors, but then that's racing. We'll deal with that, we'll process that, we'll press on, and we'll regroup for next week. But what we do know is we've got a fascinating title fight on our hands if they're going to rock and roll like that each and every week, because they'll nose to tail, bumper to bumper for 38 of the 40 minutes, and it was fascinating.
Jared Knight jumping in saying he's got a nosebleed being that high up the stack.
Yeah, and rightly so too. The results of the open split: Liam Amos from Paul Wilson, Brad Keck, Wade Sheedy, Edward Rollo, Eduardo Zamora, Stephen Gallacher and Lee Peckham, the top 8. Pritchard in for 9th and McIntyre 10th. Now, it's interesting in all of that, Daniel Piper and Joel Janssens are actually wedged in between them. McIntyre's showing 10th in class, but 32nd outright. Elite split competitors lock out the top 20. Matt Schmidtke recovered from 49th on the grid to 20th, biggest mover of the night, but he doesn't get the points because he didn't get a chance to qualify because he was bailed up here hosting our coverage of Formula V. So I feel sorry for him in that regard. We're denying him the chance to grab some bonus points there. So with that in mind, plus 17 I think is the next best, and that is Daniel Piper. But whether he set a lap in qualifying or not, I'm not sure. Eli Donaldson plus 12, very impressive. Paul Wilson plus 14, and so too Eduardo Zamora. Greg, I'll come back to you for that in a moment. I want to grab Snelly while he's here. It's always nice to have him in for a chat on a Thursday night. Benny, good evening to you, mate. Well done. Solid effort that, 8th in the end. I mean, class above from Corey and Isaac at the front of the field. We know that Luke Page and Willie Blair bring some good pedigree to the table, but from your standpoint, where did it go wrong? Where did it go right tonight? Are you happy with 8th?
Oh, yeah, hi, Zach. I'm actually really happy considering I think the last time I drove a Porsche was the last time I was doing a Thursday night GSRC, so I was up in an iron whether I wanted to jump in because I do have an early start tomorrow, and I was like, stuff it. Like, Fuji's such a fun track that I couldn't say no, and jumped in. I was, I think, 3 seconds off the pace on the first lap of quali because that was my first lap, and managed to jag a lap, and I went, I'm pretty happy with that. And then I managed to not spin until the very last lap, so I'll take that one. Just as I thought, I haven't spun this race, I'm doing pretty good, I spun. So just got to not put the blocker on myself next time.
As you do. So, you mentioned Fuji being a fun circuit, but also one that's pretty light on the old fuel tank, mate. I mean, the fact that you guys were able to go very deep into the race. You've gone lap 17, but you had guys around you that were going lap 21, lap 22. So it's a circuit that's good on fuel.
Yeah, that's it. And I hadn't tried fuel saving. I was still trying to figure out where I was braking for the first half of the race. It was good to be up the front and have the fast guys to get a reference of. I think I got a little bit more comfortable. I bailed a little bit early just because it was starting to get a little bit spicy with the back markers. And I went, I might be able to have a little bit of a go here and see if I can get some clear air. And I did all right. Jumped out behind Matt Schmidtke, and even though he started dead last, he definitely had enough pace to sit behind and just cruise along. There's me spin, right on cue. But yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it, and see if I could do a few more throughout the season.
And even though, I mean, let's be perfectly honest, the interesting point out of all of this, right, is that it's a fun circuit for you. You're still learning the car and the circuit as a combination, though. So how hard is that to do on the go?
As long as you don't try and go 10 tenths. I think that was the issue I had at the start. I tried to go with the faster guys, and I just didn't have that pace and that comfortability in the car. So once I figured out, no, actually, I just need to run the pace that I need to run, and just ease my way into it. It was quite good. This track's quite nice. As long as you don't hit the wrong curb, it's pretty flat. So the Porsche isn't so bouncy as compared to some other tracks. So it's quite nice for that. It's pretty easy, just as long as you don't nip some of those apex curbs.
60 minutes last week, 40 minutes this week for the Porsches. So we've shrunk it by a third of the complement. But it's interesting, right? One of the surprising elements for me, and I'm sure probably for you as well, you mentioned it as one of the reasons why you pitted as early as you did, just how quickly the field fanned out and lap traffic started to play a part in this race. Like, we expected it to probably play a part at some point, but it was a more pressing part of the narrative than we probably anticipated.
Yeah, I feel the earlier lap traffic was probably some of the open guys that decided to pit early and get out of the mess. And this isn't a super long lap. So once you break away, you lose about half a lap. So it turns out that puts you right in the midst of the leaders of the elite guys, which is definitely a daunting task. And there was probably a couple of little moments, but these guys also have the right to the track and right to have fun on a Thursday night. So I think from what I saw, it all went not too bad. So it's good fun having such a big pack of cars and the pace disparity, and you get a little bit of action compared to the elite split last season, where it was once you lost your cars, you were pretty much just rolling around by yourself.
Indeed. Now, so when you made that decision to try and get out of the lap traffic, did it help? Did you come out in clearer sort of air or not?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I came out behind Matt Schmidtke, who was lapping one of the AM guys, and pretty much just popped in behind him. He had a good pace and just followed him, and I did some pretty good laps. I don't know what happened because I was battling Ben for most of the race, Ben Pedersen, and he disappeared. So I was a positive overall until I spun.
Just bear with me there a sec, Snelly. Andrew, do you mind bringing the result sheet back up, mate, just so that we can get context for the audience at home? So firstly, where Snelly's finished is they're just ahead of Michael by about a tenth of a second. I'm going to get to that in a moment, and Jeff wasn't too far back from that either. Had it been another lap, Jeff might have been able to latch on with Slipstream. But can we just go over the page beyond Matt Schmidtke there and have a look? Okay, so you've got to go. Here, fair indication, right? Looks like Alan McDonald's picked up an invoice after the fact, because the lap times around here were only 1 minute 40-ish, 1 minute 41, 1 minute 42. So 1 minute 57 doesn't necessarily stack up unless he's made a mistake on the final lap or been slugged an invoice after the fact. But what's interesting there for mine, Benny Pedersen's down, finished in 34th position. So that's unfortunate for his night to end that way. And all down to, even though we're talking about lap traffic being a compelling element of the narrative there, the top 37 got home on the lead lap. Yes, there were 49 in the field, and if we go over the page one more time, Andrew, we'll be able to tell everybody at home how many finished there. We got all the way down. Okay, Aiden Rankin, the first of the retirements, but he still gets classified on 75%. So only the 3 retirements, and they were very early in the race, and therefore only 8 cars finishing a lap down. So we talk about lap traffic being apart, but once the field's cleansed itself, Snelly, it painted the picture as to how long a pit lane run through that is, and just how much time is lost in that transit, that everybody's come back that was on the lead lap at the end there. They've all come back to the lead lap after being a lap down as the field was cleansing. So very hard to paint the picture as to how much lap traffic played a part, because there was a totally lost part of the narrative in there in the dynamic of varying strategies, as you mentioned, with regards to the open boys.
Yeah, that's it. So, it is quite a long pit lane, so there was definitely a big delta for the guys that pitted early. So, all in all, it was good fun. I really enjoyed myself. It's definitely worth staying up past my bedtime for.
You must have been happy to get the run to the line, though, because as we saw there, less than a tenth of a second between you and Michael Vocci at the end. That slipstream benefit on the main straight's enormous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty solid. The issue I had pretty much all race is trying to figure out that last corner. I couldn't get a run on Ben because he just nailed it every lap, and I'm getting on the throttle later, and I'm like, I'll get on the throttle earlier, then I'm sideways out of the corner and going even slower, so I couldn't quite figure that one out. But I got back past on the last lap there after my spin. There was a little bit of traffic as well, so I managed to just shove my nose in and go, I've got another spot. Yay, go me.
Are we going to see, obviously pending other external commitments, mate, be they fun or work or any, family commitments and the like, are we going to see you pop up from time to time in the Porsche, or is it going to be a regular commitment? Where do you sit with this after having a steer around for 40 minutes tonight?
Oh, yeah, it's just going to be when I can, when time permits, and see what happens. I know there's definitely 1 week I'm going to miss everything because I'm going to be going to the snow with the family. I think that's in September sometime, so it'll be towards the end of the season. But yeah, pretty much just going to try and focus on the M2s on Tuesdays, even though last night wasn't a great showing. But yeah, just focus on the M2s on Wednesdays, and then just do the Porsches when I can.
No, you corrected yourself very nicely there, because I'm pretty sure you said M2s on Tuesdays firstly.
Yeah, look, it's been a long week, okay?
I was going to say, hang on, wait, last time I checked they were Wednesdays, and then you said Wednesdays, and I was like, yeah, okay, he was right. Because I was going to say, I won't be here on a Tuesday. That's my trivia night. Some breaking news in from Combank Stadium in Sydney, and a very soaked and sodden Combank Stadium. Thursday night football, it's been absolutely tipping down there. Broncos 14 have defeated Penrith 12 on Thursday night football. Geelong still in control of their match against St Kilda at the moment as well. How are you enjoying the BMWs, Snelly? I mean, obviously last night I wasn't here for it. I haven't even had a chance to look at the results, but it seems as though there was a lot of love in the house for them last week, whether you liked the car or not. If you liked the car, you're out there having a drive of it. If you didn't, you were here watching on from the comfort of your own lounge, hoping that you guys would put on some sort of a destruction derby, or at least that was what Jordan Pianazzola was hoping for.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting last night. Okayama in the wet. It was the first time I've ever driven that car in the wet, and I had a big day at work, so I got home, logged into this, registered, went and did some pre-race rituals, and then came back and there was 2 minutes quali left, so I didn't get to set a lap. And it was interesting because it's a lot more hectic towards the back, especially in the wet as well. A lot more hectic towards the back than it is towards the front and those things, that's for sure.
Now, I apologise. We had 3 people in here a short while ago. We've now only got 2. And now we've got 3 again because Chapo's made his way in. Luke N. Page has already seen himself out before we even had a chance to ask him a question. He's done what Denchi used to do. If we don't get to him within 3 seconds, he's gone. We might get a chance to have a chat. Yeah, I know. We might get a chance to have a chat to Luke Page at some point. If not, we will catch up with him later in the piece. But Stelly, well done to you, mate. I mean, obviously, I know, as you said there's a week where you miss absolutely everything. But let me run you through some of the schedule here. Watkins Glen on the boot next week for sprint racing. Circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya after that, then Silverstone. Any of those entice you with the Porsche?
Oh, you can't say no to Watkins, can you? Especially with the boot.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I know the supercars were around there on the short shoot last night. That goes all right too.
Yeah, it's always a good time at Watkins. So yeah, we'll see how I go with that one. So with my work, it's week on, week off with one of the roles, and it's my week on this week. So it's 11, 12, 13-hour days this week, and then next week is back to your 10-ish hours. So should be hopefully a little bit more sprightly next week and have a crack at it.
All right, very nicely done. I won't hold you up. It sounds like you've had a long day. Congratulations, mate. Very nice to see you out there. Consistency wins championships, so you've been able to get to the finish line tonight. Do so inside the top 10. Set yourself up nicely for what's to come. Go well for the balance of the week. And where are we off to this weekend? Is it a drift thing or is it something else?
This weekend I'm working again.
Oh.
So working Saturday and then a whole bunch of car prep on Sunday. I'm driving in August is the next time I'm drifting. So hopefully have everything ready to go for then and go out and have some fun. It's been too long.
It has been indeed. We look forward to following the progress when you do, mate. Thank you. Anyone you'd like to thank?
As always, shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. I'm looking forward to having a break tomorrow at some point and watching the broadcast back on my phone, hear your sultry tones throughout the call. And big shout out to the club for putting the racing on. It's always a great time, and big thank you to the missus for letting me jump on the sim.
Very nice. Betty's just ensured he gets signed off for another permission slip for next week. Good work. Done.
You're going to think ahead.
It. Very good. Choose your battles wisely. Well done, Sterling. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Brilliant stuff. Got to thank the other half for letting me on the sim. I love when you guys do that. They are the long-suffering other halves of you lot. But at the same time, yes, I can imagine if the thank yous dried up, they wouldn't be so willing. Well done. Excellent to hear from Snelly. Luke Page has welcomed himself back into the commentary box, so I'm going to go there before he departs because I know Chapo will stick around for a little bit. And Liam Amos is standing by to have a chat as the winner of the open split as well.
Before you jump.
Oh, hello, Greg.
I'm still here because you told me to hang around. I'm actually going to jump out, so I'll catch you boys next time and you'll see me on track tomorrow.
I look forward to that. Go well. We'll look forward to seeing how you fare around Nashville when we chime into the IndyCar.
No worries, catches.
And thank you very much for sticking around, mate. We do appreciate that because we didn't get a chance to have a chat with you in our Formula V post-race show. So then we ended up just having a Formula V post-race show chat with you throughout the entirety of the Porsche race. And we wouldn't have it any other way. El Presidente, we love having a chinwag. Go well.
No worries, cheers.
He's just heading off now nearly to scrub the red target out of the back of his Formula V car that he feels as though was painted on there. Yeah, yep, exactly. Ready for next week. Oh, dear. Brilliant stuff. Hey, Luke Page, welcome into you. See, this is the thing, right? So we've got a Luke Page from Whiskey Business Racing and we've got a Luke Page from Project 36. One is Luke M. Page and you are Luke N. Page. So you can imagine how confusing that gets. Thank Christ you've got different sticker kits.
Yeah, I know. It's so hard to diff up. But yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, it's pretty boring race to be honest with me, but it was good fun.
Well, actually, boring, I can understand why you would make that comment, but it's interesting too, right? Because obviously, as we've checked in with you guys, early part, you watch Corey Lazarus and Isaac Curtis do what they do best and disappear, right? Secondly, they then start squabbling for position, and you and Willie latch onto that and think, yep, okay, this is our invitation back in. We want a piece of this. But then they sort themselves out and you didn't get a look in. But then we get the word that comes through that Corey Lazarus cops a 5-second invoice for unfortunately clean bowling a back marker on the final, on the second to last lap. So all of that happens very quickly. All of a sudden you and Willie, instead of fighting for one spot on the podium, you're fighting for two.
That's me discovering that now, by the way, so I've got no idea. But thanks
for
letting me know.
There you go. No, we saw it on the screen. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay,
I'm not sure what's happening post-race because I'm sure there'll be a discussion about it. But yes, that's the word that we've got.
Oh, okay, wicked. That's good to know. Thanks for that. It's nice.
So, see, there was benefit in coming back into the commentary box to have a chat, right?
Yeah, of course. I was patient before. I think I waited a bit for this.
No, we love a chinwag with Snelly, and he was first in, so first in, first served. However, in saying that, Right, let's pick it apart, because obviously there is a background story here. It threw us last week because the boys alerted me to it. They said you've got a Luke N page and you've got a Luke M page, and you know one, you're going to know the other. Obviously, we're familiar with the Whiskey Business Luke page for a while. So tell us what brings you to the platforms of the GSRC. What's the background and why the Porsche Cup specifically?
Hey, I've probably had like a 6-month gap, but I used to race in GSRC quite a lot, so it's actually not my first time on the service. I've been here for quite a while. So
it brings you back, in other words.
Yeah, it brings me back. Had a bit of a gap, so I just wanted to do a break. Just hop back in. I've always raced Porsche Cup, so I always love it.
Was that a self-imposed break from sim racing altogether, or was it something else?
Yeah, just life. Just needed to have a little break. It was getting too much. So I was doing VRS, GSRC, and then I was doing like karting as well, like real life racing. So it was way too much. Just had a break from everything. To be honest with you, I'm working way too much as well. So.
Oh, aren't we all? You can overload sometimes. It's good when you get the opportunity to just bail and go and hit the reset button. Talk to me about, because you're talking about Porsche Cup and your love of that, how have you enjoyed the new incarnation of the Porsche Cup? Because we've had so many different varying opinions and views with regards to the 992.2. Where do you sit with it?
I'm a bit of we all know Ben's opinion, Pedersen.
Yes.
I'm a bit of a follower in regards to that. I think the previous generation was such a purist car, and when we already have GT3 cars on the service, it made zero sense for me as to why they changed it. I understand the realism aspect, but I think it was such an amazing car to drive, and it was so rewarding when you were running limit, and for one lap pace, it was just such a cool car. So yeah, a little bit disappointed that they changed it, but it is what it is. It's realism, of course. That's what the service is about. So and, we all adapt to the changes, and we all like to learn different cars. So it is what it is.
And I guess if a league per se, definitely not officials, but if a league wanted to reinvent the wheel, purely for the sake of nostalgia and also general love for the car, there's nothing stopping them. The beauty of what we do in the sim world is, the virtual world, more specifically, more broadly, the beauty of it is they can easily go and say, righto boys, for those of you that are detesting the 992.2, here's a 992.1 series, come and have at it.
Yeah, absolutely for that. I think we all naturally go to the most competitive series, though. That's the only thing in regards to that, is we all want to be in the most competitive and the most kind of fabled league. Therefore, we all chase the most populated league, I guess, as well. So I think, yeah, it's all good to get like a league for the old car, but I think we'll always go to the most competitive league either way. So,
and I guess the other thing too, mate, let's elaborate on this a little bit further. Even though you guys love the 992.1, it's been in your best interest, as you say, with regards to being competitive in officials and leagues and other things, to persevere and learn, wrap your head around the 992.2 in the long run. But I could also throw it at you, if you were in a position where you were driving both each week, that it might compromise your performance in one or the other, just trying to wrap your head around how distinctly different the two cars are side by side.
Yeah, that's true. You just have to stick to one. There's no way you could try and race them side by side. Yeah, it'd almost be impossible. So yeah, on that note, and it's like this car feels completely different as well. Everyone says, "Oh, just turn ABS off," but the car does not handle the same as if it does without ABS. So it's completely different. Indeed.
Now, talk us through your thoughts on what you do now going forward, because second's a great result, but obviously Isaac and Corey have set the standard. They're going to be the guys to beat, and I guess it falls back on you now to try and find something to go with them side by side and match them, maybe even better them at some point throughout the course of the campaign.
Yeah, definitely. Full push like for next week and the next rounds. Compared to my normal practice routine, it was very sloppy. So for what I kind of put down, I'm pretty happy, and also confident with a bit more practice and actually hopping in the sim a lot more. I can probably at least get closer up to them, maybe even on par with them.
And across the board, outside of the Porsches, where else are you going to pop up and have a steer when time permits, and when I guess this also comes back to what you were saying about juggling workload and other commitments in other servers. But with regards to the GSRC, I mean, where else might we see you pop up and have a steer?
Probably nowhere, just, because of time. I would love to, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, purely, oh man, I could barely find the time and seat time to get in this car like this week. So, it'll just be this car for this week, for this round, sorry.
You'd have to be stoked, though, the fact that you were a bit time poor, the fact that you're able to string a result together that's netted a podium.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very glad. Yeah, with the practice that I had, absolutely.
Well, actually, we heard a couple of the boys come in earlier after Formula V and said that they somewhat licked the stamp and sent it as well. I would argue that it's a little bit easier to do in a V than a Porsche.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I haven't drove those for months. So, yeah.
You're welcome back any time, but again, I get that time doesn't grow on trees. Hey, talk me through. Obviously, Fuji, great racetrack, really put on a good show. How do you feel about sprint racing at the Glen next week?
I'm not looking far enough ahead as I used to, but yeah, sprint racing is good fun, and I love the Glen as well. So, very keen for that. This track's good fun. It's I think someone mentioned it's pretty smooth. There's not many like the sausage curbs you don't need to worry about. And yeah, it's a pretty chill track. I think the more you push at this track though, almost the slower you go. You've really just got to underdrive, like drive at 90% the entire time, it feels for me. So it's good fun though.
Indeed it is. By gee, we're looking forward to sprint racing next week. Our first taste of sprint racing for this season, ladies and gentlemen. And then once we come back after the fifth round, when we turn for home, the halfway mark at Silverstone is a single race, but then we go sprint racing at Hockenheim, sprint racing at Interlagos, sprint racing at Imola, a single at Monza, which will be absolute perler, and then because of the nature of racing we see through the slipstream effect and everything else at Monza, and then we turn it around for super sprint racing at Road America. So brilliant bang for buck on a Thursday night throughout the course of this season. In between that, before Silverstone round 5, we've got Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya round 4. So out of all of those tracks that I've just rattled off, Luke, are there any that you're unsure about or any that you're not looking forward to?
Probably after each track. If I'm bad at the track, I'll know pretty well soon. So I'll hate it in the week, but I'll get over it, So it's always push to the next week after you finish the next round. So is what it is. Indeed.
All right. Very nicely done. Well done tonight. Brilliant performance. You held Willie Blair honest, and he was in the top 3 in our championship at the end of last term. You beat the defending champion, who we're about to hear from as well. A very strong showing, and you've put yourself out there as a name to keep an eye on as the season goes on. So we're looking forward to next Thursday already, and obviously good luck with everything that's happening in your world between now and then, mate. Thanks for stopping on by twice to have a chat to us.
All good. Thanks very much. That's it. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Todd.
There he is, Luke Page. Very nicely done, mate. Thank you to you. Well done to you and also the Project 36 stable. Liam Amos, as we see it on our score sheet, victor of the open split, but what a night to be a part of. I mean, a 49-car grid, a combined server, a lot of traffic, and you've seen off the competition, mate. You've weaved your way through all of that, stayed out of trouble, ticked the boxes. Victory's yours. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, all. I'll be honest, I didn't know I was actually leading open split until about the second last lap, where someone in my Discord was like, hey, you're first. I was like, oh, okay, yes. So I was like, don't tell me that, coming through the last corner. But no, I was surprised I got damage in T1, so I thought that, okay, here we go, we're on for a bit of a stinker. But just kept it clean. And I mean, I'll be honest, it was a desert out there. I didn't see a single person most of this race. All the elite guys were too quick, and then everyone in open was just so far behind. So interesting race, that's for sure.
As you do. It's interesting though, because as soon as you said that you weren't sure, you weren't aware. Do you prefer it that way? Or would you actually like to have someone in your ear giving you updates, giving you information, essentially trying to aid some sort of assistance as you go about your business? Or would you just like the Kimi Räikkönen approach of being left the you-know-what alone?
Yeah, I think I like the hype when there's someone like hyping you up, and especially if it's an intense battle. But I guess if you just don't know, then like I did rate like Fuji's hard to not make a mistake, especially in that third sector. And I don't think I made like any, just because I thought I was near the back, to be honest. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I think if it was like a one split, you know you're first. I would probably like that hype and those updates. But when I'm just cruising P21 or something, it's alright. I prefer the silence.
Because right then, as soon as they've given you the notice with about 11.5 to go, you fear that something might go wrong. They might have just put the locker on you, especially when it's that late in the piece and you've almost reached out and grabbed it. You tick the box. That I wouldn't have liked to have been your teammates if that had happened.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think it's funny you say that, because I made the joke to my teammate saying, oh, don't tell me that I'm going to crash. And then on the last lap, the white flag lap, halfway through the lap, someone spun under the flag, and I was inches away from collecting him, and I was like, no way. Like, as soon, if you didn't tell me that wouldn't have happened, you jinxed this poor guy. So, yeah, no, wouldn't want to be the guy to get the nerves going and get the spin.
No, absolutely not. Oh dear, it's amazing, isn't it, what that does? As soon as I don't know what it is about race car drivers or sportsmen or anything like that, but as soon as you get that information, there's a bit of nervous energy and a bit of excitement that comes about it, isn't there? And that's, as soon as your mind is drifting off the job at hand, that's when all hell breaks loose, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what separates, like, I guess, the good from the great, is being able to put that stress behind me, and far from the great. So still a long way to go in terms of not getting those nerves when you can sniff a victory.
Driving Dreams 651 just saying that the race audio is loud that he can't hear Liam, but I'm not having a problem with that, Neely, so I'm not sure if you're able to. That might be your end as well. You might be able to just dim the SFX down a little bit for him. We'll work on that, folks. We'll work on that. Yeah, I thought it was mute, to be honest with you. But anyway, it's all good. For what it's worth, I can hear Liam loud and clear, and he's speaking well, fluidly. So, with that in mind, let's talk about the rest of the schedule, mate, because that is a hugely competitive open split field that you're part of. Nice to tick the box and get the job done there, but championships aren't won in week 2. What have you got to bring to the table to keep staying at the pointy end and put yourself in championship contention when we get to week 10?
Yeah, probably some more practice. Like, I think I did maybe like 10, 15 laps before this. I'm just lucky that the officials were here like 2-3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that might be fun, and did some laps. So I guess it was still fresh in my mind, but probably put practice in for GT3s, and the 3.5s probably should actually practice now that I know I can finish at the front of open.
Yes. Apparently Miller Motorsport's saying that they can't hear you either, so let's just talk really, really loudly, righto? Actually, that's probably a bad idea for me. I don't need encouragement to do that, but anyway, it's all good. We'll sort it out, folks. Bear with us. First night jitters, clearly. Hey, by the way, Geelong leading St Kilda, 5.5 to go in the fourth. 15-12, 102 to 8, 7.55. So, obviously, a great result here, Liam. You mentioned the 3.5s. What else are you going to throw the hat into the ring for this term?
Apart from the 3.5s, the GT3s.
Yep.
And I got Mitch Noble, another teammate who's running in the V8, and he's egging me on to do that. So we'll see. I've done it before, but 3 nights can be a bit much. But yeah, maybe I'll try squeezing some V8s as well.
All right, so Andrew Neal just asking for some feedback now. He thinks he's got it sorted. So keep us posted there with regards to all of that. Chapo's muted himself, so he can't hear a bloody thing at the moment, which means hopefully he's unmuted himself by the time we're done with Liam Amos. Otherwise, we're going to have to do some padding here while waiting for the man from the City of Churches. Liam, it's interesting, right? So you talked about the 3.5 and the GTs on a Monday night. Confirmation that it's working beautifully now. So welcome into to Liam Amos now that everybody can hear him. That's going to be interesting to go back and have a look at that tape. It'll sound like I'm talking to myself. However, in saying that, Liam, how do you go with the juggling act on a Monday night? Jumping out of an open wheeler and straight into a tin top, two very, very different machines.
It's actually terrifying. I'm surprised more people aren't like talking about it. One of my teammates who's running the 3.5 said, I think I've got to stop doing them because especially where I guess doing Northern Hemisphere tracks, and they're quite hot. So all the GT3s are super understeery at the moment. So it's a bit of a mission, especially I'm going from, I guess, the 3.5 to the Mustang. And it's like going from driving a F1 car to a couch. So yeah, it's a bit of a mission, that's for sure.
From driving an F1 car to a couch, I like that. Given the correlation there between doing something in the real world and doing something in your own home, which ironically is what we do with the virtual racing. I love that. Thank you guys, says Miller Motorsports. Good to have you guys in the house for the post-race show as well. You look at that schedule for the Porsches, Liam. What's exciting you? What's got you a little bit nervous and on edge? What circuits are you most looking forward to? And what are you looking at and thinking, oh, Christ, we could be in a bit of trouble here?
Watkins should be fun. I think everyone knows that, though, but that's bound to be competitive. Correct me if I'm wrong, Silverstone on there, I think?
Yeah, round 5.
Yeah.
And between them, Watkins and Silverstone is Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Afterwards, the Hockenheim Ring, Interlagos, Imola, Monza, and Road America. So there's a lot of circuits in the next short while that we are familiar with through Formula One, if nothing else.
Yeah, I like, to be honest, I'm excited for most of the tracks. I think Silverstone, though, I haven't driven the 992.2 in it, but the 0.1 was quite a nightmare without the TC. So I've never been a fan of it in like tin tops. Open wheel's a different story, so that should be interesting to say the least. But yeah, I think excited for Imola, excited for Monza, and especially Hockenheim. That should be a blast.
Very nicely done. What keeps you busy between now and Monday? Any racing on the radar, or do you put the feet up and focus on everything else that is encompassed within your 9 to 5 and day-to-day life?
Yeah, it's probably put the feet up at least tomorrow, and then Saturday, and then Sunday. Definitely going to put some time into the 3.5s because I mean those cars are difficult to drive. So getting in them and arriving driving is a recipe for not ruining my race, but ruining probably 15 other people's races. So definitely put my practice in there so I don't ruin other people's races. So
very nicely done. Hey, the other thing we should point out too is Monday night going to be absolute beauty for the Formula Renault 3.5. We mentioned this earlier. Monza, Italy, and then, of course, VIR. So two very different racetracks. VIR for GT3, and, of course, we're in 60-minute mode there for another week before we start going sprint racing. So plenty of work ahead of you over the course of the weekend to get ready for those two stops. And then I would imagine that it's after you get through Monday night that you start thinking about the Porsches and the next stop on our tour.
yeah, providing I don't end up doing V8s, I usually get to Wednesday and I'll try do a lap or two of the Porsches. If I'm lazy, then I'll just do it Thursday before the race. So yeah, but I guess seeing this result, I'll probably Wednesday will be the delegated P-Cup practice day.
And I was going to say it's one of those things, isn't it? Now that you've put this result on the board, it kind of puts the fire in the belly to commit to this for the whole term and try and make a play for the title. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good to get the motivation up. I had a bit of a dumpster round last round at Bathurst, got crashed out, went to pull the pin and thought, nah, screw it, I may as well go out with a fast repair and salvage some points. So seeing this, gets the motivation going for sure.
All right, very nicely done. Fuji International Raceway, a very good night out for you. Thanks for A, stopping by the booth for a chat with us post-race, and B, being so patient and waiting for us to get to you. We had to get through Snelly and Luke first, so we appreciate that. Go well for the weekend. Who would you like to thank before we let you go?
Firstly, I'll just say the sponsors, so Kenneth's Hire, Racelith and Noble Automotive. And then obviously the boys for dragging me along to Peak Up. Probably wouldn't be doing it if Mitch Noble wasn't in Elite. And Jacob McIntyre, who raced tonight, only buying the track 10 minutes into quali. And
Commitment. Yep.
yeah, and then obviously the people who support me out off the track. So my partner, who I think fell asleep watching the stream, she got work tomorrow, and I think my sister might be watching. So shout out to them.
I didn't realise that we were going to be soothing and therapeutic to the point of boring people to sleep. That's I don't know how to feel about it. No, I understand completely. When you're tired, you're tired. I get it.
If you speak loud enough, you'll probably wake up. To be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Get the kids to scream out, "Wake up, Jeff!" That'll wake anyone up. Hey, very nicely done. Well done to you. Is it true what they say that Kennards make your job easy?
Cano.
Oh, okay, right, fair enough. I couldn't help myself. As soon as you mentioned them as a sponsor, I have to ask the question. All right, very nicely done. Good to catch up with you, Liam. Well done, mate. Hopefully we'll be having another chat with you at least on a Thursday night, maybe Monday to Wednesday night. Monday in the entree and Monday in the main course. And if you pop up sporadically on a Wednesday night, who knows? As the season goes on, mate, thanks for dropping by.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Enjoy your night.
And well done on the W in the open split as well, which on the subject, let me have a look-see here. There's absolutely nothing going on in our points updates Google Drive documents at the moment. So I would say that A. Lavis has a 4 a.m. alarm tomorrow morning and they're not being touched until tomorrow. So points updates coming your way tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, ladies and gentlemen, in our broadcast of the IndyCars from Nashville on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, which brings me to one S. Chapman to end the night. Quite an interesting one. Back-to-back Porsche nights for you. You can talk to me about Zandvoort if you want to, but fair income, that was a hairy sort of night and a lot of drama there. Tonight was tame in comparison from a race standpoint, but the V's we've also got to have a chat about from Oran Park as well, mate. Let's start with the Porsche and work our way back. Corey Lazarus, great to see him back in the house, but between him and Isaac and a couple of others, they didn't make life easy for you.
No, sorry, were you talking about Porsches or are you talking about...
we're talking about Porsches right now.
Yes, yeah. It's one of those nights where I got home right before V started, so I've got no laps down for anything, as I think was probably fairly evident. So I chucked on a Le Mans set actually for Fuji, and then Scott Rank was actually the chap with me. It was like, oh my god, this setup's running 13 wing. I was like, I'm running -1 at the moment, so that might not be the op. So yeah, fiddled around with it a bit, and yeah, so started a bit further back, but not horrific, and then just went, okay, well, I'm just going to have to manage stuff here. It's hot track. You don't want to lose your rears. Still running unders on wing, which didn't seem to help me in the straights at all. So go figure. But yeah, I mean, it was just a carefully managed race, 0 exit. So can't complain too much there. But definitely need to get a lap or two in beforehand if I'm going to compete with those top guys, because they were pretty quick up front.
I don't like doing this, but I've just opened up social media and the NRL Online Facebook page, they've got the caption, their title defence is still alive with regards to the Broncos beating the Panthers tonight, Chapo, right? But they've gone with the wrong there, as in they are. At what point do I sit in here and type the right there in the hope that they'll actually amend their quote and actually sound like intelligent, like they've got a good enough grasp of the English language to hold the post they hold?
Well, no, it's rugby league, so it's. There's a bloke there that's just been concussed 17 times, and he's trying to type out comms for you. So there's your problem.
Christ Almighty. It's like I've said it before, I'll say it again. The great Eli Donaldson has joined us in the house. We'll have a chat with him in a moment as well, your teammate. In fact, we might just integrate him into this one. We'll go back and forward between the two of you. But the laziness of the English language these days, the sloppiness, the way in which it has gone to shit, and I can say that because we're past 7:30 Western. I mean, social media is heavily to blame for that, and it's a blight on our existence, I think. I mean, if that was a newspaper or anything of journalistic integrity and credibility as it used to be once upon a time, when you were putting out that sort of rubbish, they would hurl you over the coals. Fair income.
What's
Anyway,
incredible as well is that now you've got tools that can check your work for you and go, actually, no,
exactly.
you screwed up, which clearly we're not using in the
Grammar
comms
check,
department.
spell check. What the hell are we doing?
In rugby
Fair
league,
dinkum.
I thought you were going to go down the path of their championship, their fight's still on, but actually it's not. I thought you were going to go have a jab there, Zach. But I'm glad you took a different path.
Yes. Oh, I'm here to fight tonight. Don't worry about that. Some of you will have seen the back and forth, particularly those of you in Melbourne would have seen an article in The Age today with regards to some of the rubbish going on in Australian motorsport right now. I've said my 5 cents worth about that on my Facebook post before getting in the booth tonight. I'm fired up. I'm ready to rip and tear. Don't worry about that. So, Chapo, limited practice. Now, when it comes to the Porsche, is that on the back of obviously spending a bit of time preparing for Zandvoort last night?
Yeah, that was
knock-on effect.
Yeah, that was the goal. I put in a decent amount of prep for Zandvoort. The result was all right, but probably should have been better given the pace. But yeah, like that was it. And, by the time that finished up, I couldn't be asked doing any more laps. So and figured that I might be able to get home in time, but yeah, our friends in the media were causing me problems as well. So here I am rushing home. Not sure if I'll even make the V service. So nevertheless, we'll take that, all things considered.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Although that being said, the Zandvoort thing, we were discussing it off air once the broadcast wrapped up last night. There's a lot of comments with regards to the incidents on track, the level of aggression, the intensity, etc., and so forth. My thoughts on Zandvoort. Yeah, okay, it does put on a pretty good show in the grand scheme of things, but it is a goat track at the same time, and that's evidenced by just how mega committed and mega aggressive you have to be to execute an overtake, let alone consolidate it. So I wasn't surprised by the level of elbows out aggression we saw last night, and I don't think you would have been either. Where now that we're at round 5 of that championship, and it's now in the rearview mirror, mate. It's starting to, the pressure's starting to pile on for a few people that haven't bagged the results they would have hoped to have done so far.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's not every. I don't think I've got an incident the entire season, and they're running at about 25 incidents around at the moment that are being penalised. So, it's not everyone. You can race without doing it. It's also why I guess I've actually finished each race, which is a key part of what you actually have to do over there, is cross the line. But yeah, like I mean, I think it put on great racing, and I actually do think Zandvoort is completely underrated in cars like this, because you do have, those unique corners that do create options, and you do have to fight for it, but you don't have to be silly about it. So like it was tough, and obviously it's just flat out as well with no pit stops or anything too. So right. That changes the game a bit, but. Yeah, I mean, we've come to expect it now. You've got, a pretty elite crop of drivers there that are all fighting for positions, and are pretty closely matched. So, but, there definitely is some usual suspects that seem to keep copping pens. And I do think it's time that, they start cracking down on that a bit and giving them a race off or something. If you're running an average of 2 pens per night, it's probably time for you to take a rest.
Expert comments from Sam Chapman there for you, ladies and gentlemen. We love that sort of feedback. Hey, it's interesting, right? We'll come back and get your thoughts on that in just a moment. But yeah, there were a couple of moments last night where I thought, I'm so glad I'm in the commentary box, and I do not envy race control in the slightest. They earned the keep last night. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I would not have been surprised if the clock struck midnight before they got out of the booth. It's interesting. Let's welcome in your teammate at this particular point in time. We'll keep talking Porsches here. Eli Donaldson, what a nice surprise to have you in the house on a Thursday night for a rare Porsche cameo.
I decided to stop turning left and do some left and right tonight, so a little bit of a surprise. I had a few technical issues trying to load into the lobby tonight, so and as you'd see, my effort into turn 1 on lap 1 was spectacular. I had a screen freeze midway down the front straight, so I'm surprised I didn't kill anybody.
Oh, geez. We'll get back to that.
On that though as well, because I copped a screen freeze in the V's. And, you've seen Zach Rattray right. Yeah, that's why I went off track completely.
Yes, we're going to get back to that.
Freeze when I was right underneath someone. You've got Zach copying screen. Like, I wonder whether there's some sort of software thing going on with iRacing at the moment because, I haven't seen this many screen freezes
correct.
In a while.
Yeah, and it doesn't add up that they're all happening at once, does it?
No, there's something going on here, I think.
And what about Eli? What about that for a little bit of
nice excursion?
Flying blind driving? Very
he made
nicely
places.
done. Yes, he made places with the screen freeze. That's fantastic.
That's like next level skill.
We'll talk about your Joker lap in Formula V a little bit later on, Chapo. I'd almost forgotten about that until you threw yourself under the bus. Well done. Hey, Eli, I'm actually really happy that when you said you had a technical issue, it wasn't that your steering wheel wasn't wanting to turn right. I was half expecting that to be what you were going to say, having had so much practice turning left recently.
Oh, well, the brain sort of forgot how to turn right tonight. It took about I'd say halfway through qualifying to figure out how to drive a car again, but we got there.
Talk us through it from your standpoint, mate. I mean, obviously, a lot of praise for this circuit, and obviously the combination of Porsche and Fuji. From your standpoint, where does it stack up as a racetrack? Is it on is it on a list of favourites or meh?
Yeah, meh. It's neither there nor there. It's just another racetrack. I don't enjoy Fuji, but I hate it. Porsche Cup around here. I don't know. It was. I mean, I enjoyed that we finally brought the servers back together. First week back, and I can see the servers back together, so I enjoy that.
Yep.
I don't know. I like Chapo. I rove and drove, so I was flying blind. I was just happy to drive forward and have a clean car, so no complaints from myself.
With regards to arriving and driving, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because there were a couple of talking points tonight, and I didn't touch on it with the boys because it didn't end up being a prevalent, underlying talking factor or point out of the race that was. But talk to me about, from your standpoint, obviously not being clear air, not being at the front of the field with the likes of Corey, how you found the proximity of traffic out there, how you dealt with that throughout the course of the night, and also how you guys worked through any potential, if any, tyre wear issues as well. Start with you, Eli, and then Chabo take over.
Well, we sort of there were sort of phases through the race where I had clean air, so I definitely noticed the difference. I even said to Scott. Scott was behind me after his half spin on lap 1. He even noticed the difference straight away when you got the clean air, that when you're about 2.5 seconds behind somebody. So it was a pretty big difference being at the front to being in the dirty air. Tyre wear, probably about halfway through the race, the front tyres decided they did not want to work. So, but I was probably just overdriving the thing as well. So yeah, it was all right. Definitely would have paid to be up the front and in the clean air though.
Chapo?
Yeah, I was pretty aware that I was running low wing and, it was relatively hot. And this track just loves chewing tyres. You've got all these long corners and then you've got these fiddly small ones that you can burn the rears on. So I was pretty gentle. I was, running a bit of a fuel save as well, which served me well towards the end of the race. Meant that, I was sort of looking at the pace towards the end of the race. I reckon after that sort of early stint where you're just sort of stuck in traffic, the pace with the front guys was pretty much there. So, you know, and yeah, I agree with the dirty air. It was interesting. As soon as I got out of dirty air, I was, you know, 3-4 tenths faster. So yeah, I didn't expect it to be that much, but I guess with all these long corners and that sort of thing, it is quite big. But I thought you would make it up a bit more on the straights. But yeah, you don't quite get that toe, obviously, that you once did, as was a bit of commentary from last night.
Well, yes, exactly right. Speaking of the Porsche seat at the moment, I mean, very busy time for you, Chapo, because it's week on, week off for the Pro Series. So, I mean, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be getting ready for the doubleheader that encompasses Knockhill for the Vs, and for the Porsches, we'll be off to Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. But at the same time, you've got to prepare for the Red Bull Ring for the Porsches the night before. It's going to keep you busy.
Yeah, it will. I might have to take some annual leave or something. It's yeah.
Just don't book an overseas holiday, would you?
Oh, I'll try. Yeah, I'll try not to. No, it's the right amount of cash. So, yeah, yeah. That'll be a bit of a challenge. You know, my focus is going to be, you know, on that, on the Pro Series and trying to keep making my way forward there. Yeah, I think made it forward to about 15th now. So, try and move into that top 10 would be ideal. That will just require being a bit further up and starting a bit further up. You know, I think, you know, those the qualifying's just not quite there at this point. Spinning in qualifying doesn't help, but nevertheless. And then with these, it's, you know, it's always going to be tough because, you know, you pretty much never get any practice going into these, and you actually start, you know, a bit of a way through quali by the time you get out of the Vs. But, you know, it's obviously, you know, not quite as tough a field although a lot tougher this season than it was last season. So, yeah, you know, at least I know not killing a V. So, you know, hopefully I'll be okay there and I can jump in, but might need a couple of laps around Barcelona and make sure that I'm not just mugging together a setup last minute.
The question I got for you, Eli, is how is the left-hand turn stuff going? Give us an update on where you're at with the NASCAR stuff, what's next there, and when we might see you back here on a regular basis rather than a cameo one.
Not great. For 2 rounds in, I had 2 shockers, so that's a good start to the season. I'm going to try and make Porsche Cup my regular Thursday night here if I can, just because I am starting to get to enjoy the car. So plan is to, I don't know if I'll try and be competitive. I mean, obviously I always want to be competitive, but I'll probably just show up and make an appearance and do some laps and see what I can muster up week on week.
And Chapo, what else is on your racing radar away from the Porsches? I believe you dabble in that NASCAR stuff too from time to time, don't you?
Yes, I dabble on Monday nights. I've been, mediocre, I think is the term. There's still room for me to find there. It's one of those ones where I probably sort of hit bit of a ceiling at the moment and need to work out what the next step is to, you know, be a bit more consistently up front rather than sort of just in that sort of top 10 sort of range, because I'm not finding that at the moment. So that'll take up a bit of time. They match up with the officials, so, you know, and we've got a good team around us as well, so you know, I should be able to do a bit of work there, but, you know, I'm starting to consider what tech I might change and what I might blame instead of my own talent deficit.
When do we see you back here on a regular basis, Eli? I don't think I got to cover that one off. I mean, obviously the NASCAR series is ongoing, but is it a case of if time permits and you like the car on offer, let alone it doesn't necessarily have to be a track that you like. You've already alluded to that with regards to Fuji. But when might we see you pop in here on a more regular basis, mate?
Gonna probably try and do this weekly. See what we can do. Maybe muster up some I don't know, some results. See what we can do. I don't even know what the calendar looks like. You might have to bring the calendar up so I can see what I'm actually looking at. But
next week.
Oh yeah, with sprint racing.
Barcelona, Catalonia, and then Silverstone are the next 3. And yes, we go sprint racing next week.
Oh, okay. So we might be all right next week for some sprint racing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have a go on this. It seems if the field can stay this big. I mean, obviously, don't want to be at the back, but if we can sort of have good fluctuation in field, and I can somehow figure out how to drive some talent in myself to get up to Chapo so he doesn't drive away from me, then we might be good.
Speaking of driving away, Chapo, you've got your work cut out for you to retain the number 1.
Yeah, sure do. I cut myself out some work last week pretty seriously. Yeah, there's some guys that are performing pretty well. Obviously, you know, Lazarus is going to be a tough beat, but yeah, Isaac performed obviously really well tonight, and you've got some pretty, you know, consistently good performers in there too. So it'll be a challenge. I'll certainly need to get that qual right, which I haven't got right either week so far. So that'll be key here, so that you start up the front, because you know you're not going to catch guys like Lazarus when you're 15 seconds back after 3 laps.
No, absolutely not. That is the schedule ahead. The Hockenheim Ring will be the start of the second half of the season. We get 3 weeks of back-to-back sprint racing there, and we get 4 sprint rounds in 5 weeks to close out the campaign, folks, because after Monza, it is a super sprint at Road America. I mean, it's hairy enough getting through 1 start there, Chapo, let alone 3. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, super sprints are a lot of fun. Be good to do this one on a wheel this time. I think that'll be significantly more enjoyable. But yeah, I think that's largely a pretty nice calendar. I mean, Hockenheim Ring's always going to be a bit difficult. Sprint can be interesting. So you want to quality well there, that's for sure. Particularly if the field is as large as what we're seeing, although I suspect it won't be there. Yeah, and Imola, I have a mixed history, so we'll see about that. But the rest, yeah, look pretty good. None of them are probably my favourite tracks. I don't reckon I've raced VIR for bloody ages. I want to get VIR back going, but maybe I need to. We'll see if I crash out of NASCAR early on Monday. I'll join GT3.
All right, very nicely done. We do look forward to seeing you in GT3 at some point. And obviously, good luck with the rest of the Porsche campaign. But stay with me, Chubba, because I still want to pick Formula V apart with you in a moment. But Eli, I'm not sure if there's much else to touch on with you, mate. Obviously, good to see you out there tonight. Nice to see you make up some ground as the night went on. Always good when you finish with a green box and plus next to your name rather than orange and minus. But well done on all of that, and we'll hopefully be catching up with you on a more regular basis as the season goes on. There's a lot of excitement about Watkins Glen. You're not the first one to point out how good a combination that is going to be, and it doesn't matter, as they've already said, whether it's the boot or just the short shoot. It obviously is a fan favourite and delivers top shelf racing every time we go there. So we're looking forward to seeing you in the booth for that one. Go well in the meantime. I know it's a busy schedule for you. Who would you like to thank?
Oh, just this knucklehead next to me in the booth. He's a pretty good egg. Good when he shows up and he's not overseas mid trying to race. So that's good from him.
Yes, very good.
All the boys at Vermilion, high-mo setups, and you lads for putting on all this stuff on. That's all from me.
He never gets to live that down, Eli, and I'm really glad that you're here to keep reminding of it, because that saves me doing it. That's really good.
That's right. I'm here. I'll be here every week just to remind everyone that he's a clan that went overseas.
But I'll tell you what, he lapped up the celebrations after the fact. I'm sure you saw those. With
little talent he had left.
A table full of. Oh, brilliant. Yes, he really well and truly soaked in or basked in the glory of that one. There's no doubt about that one. Eli, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Chapo, let's talk Formula V, because, as you say, to have a screen freeze moment, we wondered what on earth had gone on there, because we saw you bush bashing through the weeds. I guess you're very lucky. You're extremely lucky that the Oran Park grass doesn't spit you out as soon as you hit it, like what some tracks have a habit of doing. That's the only thing that kept you alive.
Yeah, it was lucky, and it was at a pretty bad point because I was right up someone's trumpet. I can't remember who it was, but it froze where I've just got like a Formula V all in front of my screen. I was like, oh no, like where are we going here? And then I sort of heard the grass, and then it came back on. I was like, all right, I'm alive. I've lost spots. It's going to be a bit more difficult to make it up, but we are alive. But yeah, no, it wasn't good. And you can see, what ZRW was dealing with multiple times last night, and why it ended so badly for him. Hopefully, it's an iRacing problem that they patch if that is the case, and it's not something to do with the PC that I need to work out, but. Less than ideal, and particularly on, with no laps. My control was somewhat limited still, so we'll just be happy we're alive there.
So here's one for you, right? So, with regards to Zach Ratway White. We have nothing but sympathy for him. It seems weird, you're right, that there is 1, 2, 3 that we know of, at least, competitors that are suffering the same issue. At the moment, you're right in the sense that it doesn't feel as though everything adds up there. It's too frequent to be isolated. So maybe it is something iRacing have to look at. I mean, they had to shut down the whole service on Wednesday night just to fix the Acura, for goodness sake. Because the update they rolled out on Tuesday night absolutely destroyed it. So, yeah, and just one more comment on that Porsche series. I can't help but feel that Damon Woods has already got one hand on the title, especially after last night and all the bad luck that fell upon his rivals when he's gone out and swept the night.
I'd argue he's got 2 hands on the title, pretty much. He's a full round ahead now, pretty much. You've got obviously Rick and Zach from our tire have been doing a good job and getting consistent good results. But he's in a league of his own. There's no doubt about that. ZRW on his night can hold a candle to him to some extent, but in general, just his immense pace and consistency is just unmatched in this country, at least. So. I would be remarkably surprised if it didn't end that way, and I would say there would have to be something catastrophic for that to be the case. Because he could pretty much miss around and still be ahead, I would say. So credit to him. I mean, he puts in the time, puts in the effort, and he drives brilliantly. It would be great to work out how to bloody well do that.
Absolutely. Now, to link motor racing with cycling for a moment, if you're a fan of the Rd-2 de France, go back on SBS On Demand and have a look at the start of tonight's stage, because they started at the Magny-Cours circuit, which we, of course, know so famously through hosting the French Formula One Grand Prix between 1991 and 2008. And, of course, we know it having hosted MotoGP and World Superbikes in the past as well. In fact, I think it still hosts the World Superbike Championships. So, yes, Circuit de Nevers Magny-Cours hosted the start of the Tour de France tonight. Very nice stuff. I'm more curious to go back and have a look at that purely to see how they exited the circuit and got out of the entire facility. Because, obviously, we're not accustomed to doing that in motor racing. Normally we just go round and round and round the bloody thing, but they've now gone out and on to their next destination, as all roads lead to the Champs-Elysees next Sunday night. Now, Formula V, despite that screen freeze issue, mate, a pretty solid start of the season. John Merritt back in business tonight. Obviously gave everybody a 2-round head start last time, gives everybody a 1-round head start this time, but picks up as though he never left. It's very clear that you two, if you can keep your nose clean and avoid conflicting commitments, are going to duke it out again for the title.
Yeah, I hope so. I like racing with John, and we raced really well tonight. We very much go down to the final millimetre when we're racing. But I think both of us, know that we can do it and we can get away with it generally. It was really good racing. It was just one of those ones where I wasn't, I had decent pace, but it wasn't like last week where I was clearly faster. I just hadn't done the laps to really be comfortable in where and how to overtake properly and all that sort of thing. It was just getting that sort of at least 10, 20 minutes before quali, I think, is just really helpful on that front to get that feel and get that, understanding of the car and track before you're out in a race. So the results were decent tonight without being excellent. Obviously, I'm never particularly happy if I don't end with some sort of win, but it was good, consistent points, and I'll still be out front. So it was great racing though, and having those guys there means that any track, whether it's a draft track or a tighter track like that, is going to put on a pretty good show.
Indeed. John Hotlap-Merritt hinted at the fact that you might have sustained a little bit of damage there in one of the races, which compromised your ability to latch on and maybe make a play to move up the order a little bit more.
Maybe. I definitely.
Was it the lack of prep?
I'm not sure. I hadn't thought of it. I mean, I got taken out race one while I was leading, obviously. That's it's frustrating, but we're able to at least stay in it. In all fairness to the other driver, I think it was Heppel or something. Once again, that partly probably came down to my lack of prep and not being as consistent or predictable going into that corner as I might have been otherwise. Part of that does come back to the lack of prep as to why that incident might have happened. Either way, that is what it is. I think I've got the position back because I was 3.8 off the lead at the end still. So, there definitely was a bit of prep there, but he was probably a tad faster tonight and had that, I think, probably a little bit more confidence in the different lines, whereas I was still sort of fiddling around with what gear to use and that sort of thing in some of the slower stuff to actually get those moves done. So you'd sometimes see him, he'll make that move cleanly, on turn one or turn 2 or 10-3, and I might still be side by side with someone. So, that's probably a reflection on his sort of confidence and pace there that I didn't quite have tonight.
All right, very nicely done. Good to get the insight from you. I mean, obviously, you've avoided a catastrophic sort of night, so that keeps you very much on track to not have to burn a drop round this early in the season, which is good news for you at least. Donington Park's the next stop. So, firstly, thoughts on Donington Park for the Vs, and then Watkins Glen for the first sprint round of the Porsches, mate. You'd be hoping to get back in victory lane in the Vs, no doubt, and maybe bag a turnaround result in the Porsches as well. Yeah,
I mean, you're always hoping for wins. I'm usually good round Donington, so I'm happy with that. I think I'll be able to find comfort pretty quickly there. Probably a bit more so than Oran Park. That should be, I reckon, that's a good sized track for these cars and should be fun. I assume it is the national circuit.
The short trip, yeah.
Yep, yeah. So obviously that's tricky through the final curves, particularly in these cars, because you don't want to hit those curves the wrong way. They're relatively tightly sprung, so you can lose it pretty easily. But yeah, that'll put on some good racing, and once again, survival. We've got big grids here, so you don't want to fall off and end up in the back of the pack, because it's going to make it a hell of a lot harder than it might have last season at times, particularly towards the end of the season where it was much easier to get big points because there weren't as many people in it. Obviously the same goes for Porsches.
All right, very nicely done. I guess the other point too, you would have been loving the the lack of fuel burn, if you like, around Fuji and the Porsche. We know your disdain for the fact that there's compulsory pit stops and it kind of eliminates the requirement for fuel saving. But the fact that some of you were able to go 21, 22 laps tonight, that is the definition of a splash and dash to get another 2 laps out of the thing.
Yeah, and that's really what I was working around, was because I needed to look after the tyres anyway, given the setup and the heat and all that sort of thing, and didn't want to lose those rears. It fed into that pretty well. Obviously, it's annoying, these stupid rules, because you could have easily fuel saved it, and then there would have been a more interesting race at the end, in my view. But that's all right.
He gets fruity about it, doesn't he, Nearly? Bill.
He does indeed.
Yeah.
It was just nothing more I enjoyed than getting to the final few laps of a race and everyone going, "Oh no, he's going to make it." Yeah, unlucky. But you can't do it anymore. It's a shame.
I absolutely love it. So, very well done. What's on your agenda the next few days, please?
Go outside, talk to some real life friends, go to work. What have I got? Yeah, there's a few different things. I've got a bit on the weekend, so but at some point we'll try and do a bit of NASCAR. It's around Michigan this week, which is a good track, so I'll probably do a bit of prep with actually probably Scotty Rankin actually, to get a bit of feel for that.
Hey, frog in the throat late in the piece. My own fault. I didn't have the strepsil and honey I usually have after Formula V, which did give the vocal cords a little bit of a workout tonight, like they will at various stops on the calendar throughout the course of this season. Enjoy the prep with Scotty Rankin. Give him my regards. I'm doing something very similar, Chapo. I'm socialising with real world people and friends outside the Discord. This weekend. In fact, I'm doing something even rarer and leaving the house 3 days on the trot.
Wow.
3 consecutive days, 3 days in a row. It very rarely happens, especially during the term, right? Normally I'm confined to the booth.
Hope you've got enough clean washing.
Yeah, don't worry, I did the load last week. It's all good. But no, it's a weird one, right? Because the schedule means I can work from home, so I leave the house maybe once a week to go and do trivia and once to go and do the shopping. And sometimes if I can do the shopping on the way home from trivia, I don't have to leave the house a second time. But no, it's one of those things where I'm off to a 60th on Saturday night on the north side. Got to come home and then go to the football on Sunday and do the ground announcing. And then I'll just set the alarm for very early Monday morning to watch Spain take on Argentina in the World Cup final. Cannot wait for that. I'll probably even get up early Sunday morning, nearly, and watch Argentina and England duke it out. Argentina and no, it's England and France and England. France and England. Why am I having a brain fade this late in the piece? France and England duke it out for bronze, of course, there on Sunday morning. So we're looking forward to that as well. Although that being said, can I just say I'm a little bit filthy on SBS. I read this morning, and I don't know who makes these decisions there, but apparently the beautiful Neve Owens, who's done she is by far and away the best of the hosting talent at SBS, and I've got a soft spot for one of the others in Brianna Holden, because I know Holden personally, and we go back 16, 17 years. But I can't believe that Neve Owens, who is such an experienced campaigner and probably the best of their main hosts, has just put on Instagram today that was her last game. She's not doing the bronze. She's not doing the granny. I find that beggars belief as far as I'm concerned. It's got me stuffed as to why they're not putting their best foot forward to anchor the coverage of the final. Unbelievable. But anyway, it is what it is. Trust me, I'll be here grand final week before anyone asks any questions, ladies and gentlemen. I've got some conflicting commitments on a Wednesday night through most of the rest of the campaign, but I'll be here for grand final week with bells on. Before anyone asks. Chapo, thank you as always. Who would you like to thank before I let you go?
Oh, thank you guys, and of course Eli for giving me some company, Scotty for giving me a bit of company as well, and some of the other boys. That's always good too, and yeah, obviously the guys at Vermilion, that we've been doing work with, particularly on that Porsche Cup side, but also on the NASCAR side.
Some news coming through just now from Formula One as well, indicating that Lando Norris is set for a grid penalty at the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend as well. So, a bad season gets even worse for McLaren. Hard to believe they're the world champions, and this defence has just gone to the curb very quickly for them. Mercedes, the team to beat right now, but Ferrari making a bit of a resurgence as well. Chapo, thank you. Andrew Neil, we've barely heard from you tonight. You've had the easiest job in the history of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Turn up, press a few buttons, show a few replays, point us in the right direction on a couple of occasions. But Heaney's done the chatting, I've done the talking, the drivers have done the chat. We've barely heard from you. Still recovering, of course, from doing the double last night with Sharpie, with Jordan, and with Tyson. And, of course, still living on the high that was your win on Monday night in GT3 Pro-Am as well. Thoughts on all of that from your standpoint? You missed the Vs, but the Porsches. If we get more of Corey versus Isaac the rest of the season, I don't think we're going to be disappointed.
No, absolutely not. 49 cars on the grid, 2 different splits, and the racing was immense. Corey and Isaac down to the end, and unfortunately for Corey, just copped that penalty that knocked him back.
Yeah, unbelievably bad luck for him. And I suggest that it was fairly rough. I mean, I get why the penalty was issued, but at the same time, blue flag on display. Corey making the lunge once he knew that he would bend. I think he just got caught out by how early the car in front was on the anchors, and just didn't have enough time to get out of the road to avoid the inevitable contact. So that was really unlucky for him, and therefore, a win falls by the wayside, which is really unlucky. But it's great to see him back at the pointy end of the field and knocking on the door. It's been way too long since we've said that, and it goes back to that whole love-hate relationship he's developed with the new car, similar to Ben Pedersen, similar to a few others. But if he's finally wrapped his head around it and he's knocking at the door of bagging the results, we're soon about to see Corey Lazarus back in his element, which will be really good for all and sundry. Again, it comes back to being comfortable, having your head wrapped around it, and if that is the case, and he's got those boxes ticked, and he's now set to potentially reap the rewards and the benefit from the results, which will date back to the investment that he's put in time-wise into finally getting to a point where he's happy with that car. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.GSRC.com, and Flash Graphics. So a big thanks to those people for their ongoing support of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Le Tour de France continues tonight on SBS. Still 117 kilometres to go in this. I think we're up to 12th stage of Le Tour right now. 12th stage of 21. And good luck to all and sundry there. You can watch it on SBS live in high definition. And, of course, the British Open Golf underway tonight as well. I'll get to what's on screen in a moment because we've got a lot of good stuff coming your way. But let me cover off the housekeeping of around the grounds firstly. I didn't do too much of this tonight. So good was that Porsche racing we were talking about, Andrew Neil, that we barely had time to come up for air because we didn't know where to look. And we like it. We like those nights when there's a lot going on, and we don't have to pad or fill or reinvent the wheel to keep it interesting. The drivers did that for us. Over at Royal Birkdale, where the British Open is being played this year. Now, remember, I said it off the top, that the Royal Birkdale Club is where Ian Baker Finch won his British Open back in 1991. The American Alex Smalley on top at the moment, 5 under par through 16 holes. He's 1 stroke clear of a couple of the guys that are already back in the clubhouse. Sung Jae Im of South Korea, Daniel Brown of England, and Thomas Dietrich of Belgium. And Robert McIntyre leads a whole host of players, along with Dietrich, I should say, that are on 3 under at the moment. So 6 under for Smalley, 4 under for Im and Brown, and then, yes, a host of players down to about 11th place in the leaderboard that are all on 3 under par for the moment. That continues on 503. Fox 503 throughout the course of the evening. The Cats too good in the AFL for the Saints. That was, of course, down at GMHBA Stadium in Geelong. They did it to the tune of 102 points to 75. That's 15-12, played 11-9. And Brisbane too good in the NRL for the Panthers on a wet, soaked and sodden night in Sydney. They won it 14-12. Goal kickers very, very unhappy with their night, no doubt. 1 from 3 for the Broncos, 1 from 2 for Cleary, but he did slot a penalty goal in all of that. So 3 tries to 2, and the Broncos win by 2 points. Very, very tough night for scoring. Look, let's be honest, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything I've missed along the way. Tomorrow, of course, we'll do our full run-through of everything that's coming up this weekend, and there is a whole host of stuff coming your way. But as far as tonight is concerned, yes, that is as far as we need to go, which is very good news. Looking ahead on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube, how do we keep getting to 11 o'clock on a Thursday night? I don't know. The racing finishes at what? 9:30? How do we get to 11 o'clock?
No, I have a very good idea, Zach.
No, I don't. I literally do not have a good idea. Tomorrow night, Brands Hatch, the sprint round, the first of the sprint rounds for the GSRC GT1 Civil War. That is from 7:30 Eastern. Bear in mind that we were able to bring that to you live last week. We're not able to tomorrow night. We will do it where we can throughout the course of the season, but it very much depends on Joe Trucker Baldwin's respective work commitments. He's committed to the second race of the night, as we are for the season. But in any event where we can actually bring you the Friday night entree, we will do so. I'm looking at the grand final as potentially the next opportunity we'll have to do that. The IndyCar series, of course, follows. This is the Disruptive Labs Road to Indy series. It's from Nashville Superspeedway, 130 laps the journey there, 8:40 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be on air at 8:30, Joe and I. We'll run you through the championship points, the updated championship points from tonight's offering, the Mountain Men wheel spin before we go green from Nashville. Speaking of going green on Saturday night on the Mountain Men, Friday night wheel spin to determine the car of choice, 32 laps, 200 kilometres, 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night for Mountain Men for week 2 of Term 3. Week 3 of Term 3, 2026 gets underway Monday night. Our first look at the AM split in GT3. Kurt Nommensen very much looking forward to that being on broadcast. That's from 8:25 Eastern. That's from VIR, the full track, not the short tracks that we've been seeing pop up in the Formula V and BMW calendars respectively. But yes, the full circuit there for the GT3 AM split race 3 of 14. And we're looking forward to that immensely. That follows, as you would have seen on your screen there, Formula Renault 3.5 action, a 30-minute race from Monza, Italy. So Waste Options Monday night Motorsport, Tin Tops following Open Wheelers, Open Wheel Tin Top doubleheader, both presented by Waste Options, both live, exclusive and free, 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to your company. Then Tuesday night off to Bathurst. Yes, the Euro NASCAR is off to Mount Panorama. There will be a sprint race component to this night of competition with a full reverse grid for the second race. Have a look at that. That'll be carnage personified. Race start, they normally say server open 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm just having a look for verification in there. Yes, practice 45 minutes, qualifying 12 minutes. So the server opens 7 p.m., racing starting closer to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday night for us, again, no guarantees that I'm in the booth, but the boys did a great job last night, so if they can fill in again, that'd be terrific. BMW M Sport Cup, merch.tgsrci.com. That is Wednesday night from Road America and Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 2 sprint races there, 7:25 Eastern. Then on to the Chicago Street Circuit for the supercars. I'm disappointed to be missing that one potentially. The reason for it, Ipswich FC are hosting a pre-season game against Brisbane Roar. The A-League fixture released today. Brisbane Roar, Ipswich FC, Wednesday night, Briggs Road Sporting Complex. It starts at 7 p.m. So they've asked me to go along and do the ground announcing, etc. for that one. And I just need to make sure that there's somebody here to pick up the freight for me to be able to do that. If not, I've got to find someone for them to be able to utilise rather than, So it's a bit of a messy situation at the moment, trying to be in 2 places at once. And and at the moment, preferring to be in none. I'd happily take a full night of sleep, quite frankly. Thursday night, there won't be any sleeping here. This will be compulsory viewing. This will be an absolute cracking doubleheader for you. Sprint racing from Watkins Glen for the Porsche Cup. So 5 races on the program next Thursday night for the first time this term. Sprint racing, super sprint racing from Donington Park. The national configuration, 3 sprints, 7:25 Eastern for Disruptive Labs Formula V. Then the GSRC Porsche Cup from the Watkins Glen International Raceway. The boot section of the circuit utilised next week, just as it was in GT3, on the back of not using it and running the short shoot for the supercars last night. So we're back to the full circuit next week for the Porsches, and hope you'll join us for that. 2 sprint races, invert top 10 second race. Plenty to look forward to next Thursday night. Thank you to you, Andrew Neil. Thank you to Matt Schmidt-Gibby for that. Well done on the baton change. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get involved with everything we do here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Firstly, go to the merch store, buy some GSRC merch and paraphernalia, merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com if you want to get involved and get out there in the thick of it, into the field of battle with all of our regular competitors. Race.tgsrci.com is where you need to go for all the relevant information, the who, what, when, where, why and how of the club. And you can find out more there and sign up accordingly and get involved. That'll prompt your invites into servers, and that's Discord and iRacing, etc., and away we go from there. So plenty to be excited about as Term 3 ramps up. Phenomenal entertainment tonight. Great racing, 3 different winners in the Vs, and a cracking showdown between Corey Lazarus and Isaac Curtis on the Porsche Cup front. Just a shame to see the race decided by an official decision, but it's very rare that ends up being the case, and hopefully it's the only time we see a race decided that way this season. So Corey Lazarus was first across the line, but Isaac Curtis handed the win on the back of a 5-second penalty for Corey, with an incident involving back market traffic on the penultimate lap of proceedings. So, with all that in mind, thanks to Greg Heaney as well for jumping in and having a chat with us throughout the Porsche race. We enjoy getting the insights from a team owner standpoint, but also from a committee standpoint from the new El Presidente here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Fuji delivered the goods again. Whether you like it or lump it, it always turns on a very high-quality, top-shelf show. Tonight was no exception. We look forward to your company tomorrow night for the IndyCar race from Nashville, and so much more as Term 3 rolls on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube, live, exclusive and free. On behalf of all the broadcast commentary and production crew here, Zach Caben signing off. Go and enjoy the rest of your night, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a sports fan, it's either golf or cycling to choose from. That depends very much upon whether you got a subscription to KO or Fox or not. Otherwise, it's just the Tour de France. Until we see you tomorrow night, have a great evening. Bye for now.